Yo, what's going on, everyone? How we doing today? Let me tweet out the stream really quick, and then we can get started with the stream. I'll be going on Stardust panel in like 25 minutes, 20 or so minutes. Um, so yeah, that'll be a first. I've never been on like a panel show before, so that'll be interesting how that turns out. Let me pop out the chat really quick though. Give me a second. Pop that out. Send out the link to the stream. There we go. Pop that out. Cool. Yo, what's good? What's up, chat? What's going on? Hopefully everyone's having a happy Sunday. My cough is a little bit better, although I can still feel it a little bit. I might cough from here on out from a little bit this stream, but it should be a lot better than than yesterday. That's for sure. Got a cup of hot water here with me. So yeah, it's about like 20 minutes or so until the panel starts. So I'm just gonna play some Minecraft for a bit, I guess, until the stream starts. I figured I'd just do a little bit of a pre-stream. What's going on, Rewa? What's up, dumbass? Jessica Pizzle, Med Scout, Miles, Smaggle. What am I doing? I don't know. I'm going on Stardust show. What's up, Brandon? Robot, Floxy Wolf, Misinformation, Alofi, CK, Michael De Silva, Taps, Buzzsaw, Pippi, 8030, Salvo Pancakes. What's up, man? Blue Diamond, what's up? Doc, I've never seen anyone worthwhile on a Stardust panel. Listen, man, it's a first experience for me, okay? I figured I might as well go on like a political panel. I've never been on one before. Why not? Why not? See how it turns out. I know it's a leftist panel, or like it's it's a left-leaning panel. A lot of the dudes on there are like they're associated with the left. But I figured, why not? It'd be fun to go on there. Let's see. Hopefully it'll be fun. If it's boring, I'll leave. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. Will you have face cam on? I will have my face cam on. Yeah. Actually, let me just like plug in my face cam right now. Make sure this actually works. But I'll probably have it on. On Discord. So so that they can see my face on the stream, because I think she wants to have video camera on. I pixeled on that. Okay, there we go. All right, let me test my camera out here really quick. What's up, Tenanza? Okay, hang on, chat 1 second. Where's my camera? Oh, there it is. Properties, activate. Okay, there we go. Let me fix my lighting here as well. All right, cool. And if I have to, I'll probably turn off my camera on the bottom left. Whenever Discord stream starts or whatever. What's up, Winnow Lizzie? What's up, man? What's up, John? What's going on? Hope you're doing all right. Bro, you see Smile got felt today on Augie's stream. What happened? Did he go on Augie's stream? I missed it. Oh, were they playing? Were they playing ARMS? Were they playing the stupid Nintendo games? Is that why you're saying it? Smile got felted. Like, I'm going on a panel. Yeah, I'm going on. You ready to title the stream, Winnow Lizzie? Come on. Yeah, Stardust panel. Starting in like 20 minutes or so. Imagine if Ali Jamal. Nah, Ali Jamal is not on the panel. Okay, he's not on there. All right. It's like I think it's gonna be Papa Gut Flamenco, Factionalist. There's like another dude. I don't know the other people. But I know Papa Gut and Flamenco are gonna be on there, so that'll be good, I guess, or that'll be interesting to see. Is Luna Lizzie a guy or a girl? Well, they claim to be a girl. That's as far as I know. Is this a politics panel or one of the unfunny? This is a politics panel. The topics are political, so we will see how I do. I'm not like that well versed in politics, but I mean, I can have like I have a conversation about it, but I don't know. These people seem like they're ultra into debate, so we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see if we can make it entertaining or not. Okay, I don't know how the shows will go. And Flamenco. Dude, you don't like Papa? You don't like Papa Gut or Flamenco, man? Come on, Salvo. I know. Okay, I know you hate Flamenco. Okay, but Papa Gut he's a pretty cool guy. I mean, I don't really have any issue with him. How do I get a cute Asian girlfriend? Stop talking in my chat, and you'll be better off not talking to my chat. That's for sure. You'll be getting more Asian girlfriends that way. Eat spam live on camera and call Stardust the end. Okay, all right, Sponda. I know you would. I know you would love to do that. Okay, but I'll respect Stardust show. Okay, there's no reason for me to call her the N word. I'm gonna host a panel on. Oh my god, I'm done. I'm gonna host a panel on Keemstar's girlfriend. Hit me up if you want on. Why are you doing a panel on? Okay, never mind that. But Salvo pancakes. Did Smaggle talk to your wife? Did that actually happen? Okay, and is that like are you're not trolling that that's like not your wife? Okay, like you're like 100% that that's your wife. Is that what you're saying? Because like Smaggle was telling me he talked with your wife, dude. I have to call her the N word. Nice. Okay. Dude, y'all hate Star. Okay, man. I see Augie talking about how a lot of his fans hate Stardust. I mean, he's right, dude. I'm seeing it right here. Everybody hates, dude. Everybody hates her so much. They want me, Doc, on the radio, fellow person of color, to call her such a derogatory term on the YouTube live stream. Okay, I will not stand for this. Okay. This is like I just see all the Stardust hate. Dude, I'm like a gunt guard, but for Stardust now. I got to defend her show. For now, we'll see what happens. I don't know if it'll be good or not, but I'm hoping it'll be good. It seems professional. But I don't know. I don't watch Stardust shows. She's a woman. Okay, nice. What's up, Kikimora? I love Stardust so much. I'm sure you do, Wispy. I'm sure you do. All right, what's been going on today, man? What's been going on today with the drama and stuff? I haven't really seen much on YouTube drama, but I did see on Twitter, the number one trending on Twitter today was something about a fellow named Jalen Walker, and how he got shot like over 60 times by police officers. I don't know. There's like a whole entire slew of like theories about that story. Like there's so much information coming out about that story, and I get people like there are people on Twitter saying that the dude he got shot like over a dozen times, and he like shot back at the police while he was on like a high speed chase with them or something. And I don't know, this whole entire situation. I don't know what's gonna come out of it. It kind of reminds me of like when the George Floyd stuff happened. Right, and like we got all the riots and stuff. That's probably going to happen again because, dude, a guy getting shot over like 60 times, man, like that's insane. Like that's just insane to think about. Like getting riddled with that many bullets. Oh, that apparently he was firing at officers. Yeah, dude, I heard about that. He was like shooting at the officers while they were like on a high speed chase, and then he got out of the car and started running. And the officer said that he turned around and like reached for his waist. And then all of the officers in the body camera just like unloaded on the dude. Like they like literally mag dumped him. There's like 4 dudes with like Glocks and they all just mag dumped him right there on the spot. And like the video is insane to look at. But I mean, like, let's be real, chat. If the guy is shooting at police officers while they're on a high speed chase and he gets out and starts running, like the cop is obviously going to be like thinking, okay, this guy is a threat, right? Like I'm gonna need to do a quick draw McGraw and blast him, right? But and so like at that point, it's like, is it warranted? Like the question is like, is it warranted for the cops like mag dump the dude? And in my mind, like, I mean, what other option do you have as a police officer? Like if you know the dude's a threat, you know, you don't want to shoot him to like immobilize him. You want to shoot to kill, you know? And that's like one of the main things I have to think about when looking at these sort of videos and stuff. I don't know what y'all think, but that was just my initial reaction to that. If he was shooting at cops, why are they mad the guy got shot? It's because he got shot over like 60 times. Which, yeah, like, again, like, Salvo, it was like, what could the cops do in that situation? Like, if they know the dude's a threat, like with a gun, like he shot at the police officers, what could they do besides like shooting the dude dead? I don't know. Deserved. Was he running away? He was on a high speed chase. He got out of the car and started running, and they found a gun in his car. The Quartering got in a fight with Keffels. Dude, wait. Is the Quartering debating Keffels? Is that happening? Like what is going on with that? Is the Quartering debating Keffels? I tuned into Augie's stream today, and he was saying that um the Quartering and Keffels are going to debate on how like Keffels is apparently a groomer for like I don't know. Apparently, Quartering thinks that Keffels is a groomer, which is like kind of weird. I don't really think so, but yeah, dude, it's apparently like a thing. Like Nick and Augie and Bo Blacks and Willie were talking about earlier today. Who had a gun? Jalen Walker allegedly had a firearm. I mean, there was a firearm that was found in his car. At least that's what, like, the police report or the police were saying. And the police were saying that he was firing at them. Rare Quartering W. Don't you like the Quartering but Quartering W? Dude, but I feel like Quartering would lose that debate though. I don't know. It's like, how would you? I don't know how you would prove Keffels is a groomer. Like, what kind of evidence do you have that you could prove that Keffels is like grooming kids into like taking these like meds or something? Besides like Keffels obviously saying it herself, but like, I don't know. Okay, so we got about 10 minutes until the Stardust panel, the political panel that will be going on tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic Sunday. I did. I went back to church this morning. It was great. Unfortunately, last week I had COVID, so I couldn't go to church. But this week I'm. Oh yeah, chat update on COVID. I'm negative. Like, I don't have COVID anymore. I'm good. I'm good in that regard. So yeah, I went back to church today. Had a lovely time there. Came back, watched Augie stream a bit. Chilled out a bit, and then yeah, just waiting on this panel. So yeah, praise Allah. It is Sunday. Do the Muslims celebrate? Do the Muslims like practice their religion on Sunday as well? Like, is Sunday also like the religious day for them? Like the day that they worship? I know that like I think some Muslims worship throughout like the entire week. Like, they go to the mosque and stuff. Who else is on the panel? Okay, okay, y'all are asking, so I will pull up the list of people that will be on the panel. Oh, I'm getting DM'd. Hang on. Oh, okay, never mind. Give me 1 second, chat. I am pulling up the tweet. Oh, Nick wished me good luck. Oh, thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick, for the good luck wishes. I'm sure I will do all right. Okay, so who do we have on this panel? Not so Eurodite. I don't know who that is. Papa Gut. Factitionalist. Don't know who that is. PDX. Portland is burning. Don't know who that is. Fabian Liberty. I've heard of that dude before. I don't know him though. Flamenco and I. So yeah, those will be the people. Those will be the people that we will be having, or that she will be having on her show. Papa Gut, let's go. That'll be my first time talking to Papa Gut. I thought Doc was gonna ask, do Muslims celebrate 4th of July? No, I'm not. Okay. Jesus Christ, dude, that sounds so terrible, dude. Why would I ever say that, man? I'm really curious as to how Doc will go at a Stardust panel. Y'all have actually never really heard my politics before, so you'll be Chat, you'll be surprised. Okay, you'll be surprised with some of my takes. Okay. What time is it? It's 4:48. Um. Okay, I think there's people already in the lobby, so I'm just gonna like DC out of Minecraft. I'm just gonna pop into the lobby here. Let me deafen in there. So. Okay, I will wait for Stardust to drag me in. I guess I'll pull up the chat right now on the screen. Right now, I'm waiting for Stardust to drag me in, and then I will figure out how to turn on my camera on Discord and stuff. Oh, Doc, did I shower today? I showered yesterday. Parallax, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Doc is a hardcore lefty. Yeah, I'm like a Bernie bro. I really hope you guys get into a religion debate. I really don't want to talk about religion on a lefty panel. That sounds complete AIDS. Don't all Americans celebrate 4th of July? Yeah, sure. You know, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I celebrate 4th of July. Okay, Salvo, we're not doing any of the end. Okay. Mods, can we like, okay, here, Salvo, where the hell? Thank you, Winna. Thank you for that. We're not doing any of these N-word towers. Okay, we're not doing any of that stuff. Okay. Stop. We're not Salvo. You're like 27. Stop. Like you're typing in my chat and you're like trying to say the N-word. Stop. We're not doing that. Your wife wouldn't be proud of you, or your sister, or whatever. I don't know. Anyone watching The Boys season 3? I don't watch The Boys, but I've only heard good things about it. I know a lot of my friends watch it. So, what about W Tower? After I own the liberals in this debate, then we can put a W Tower in there. I'm kidding, of course. One word, I don't know. Oh wait, dude. Wait, speaking of the N word. Wait, chat. Did y'all see that FaZe Scented guy? He got canceled on Twitter today because he said the N word live on Twitch and like live on some dude's live stream. He got called him the N word, and then he like got kicked out of FaZe. Dude, oh my god. Wait, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. I got like 5 minutes. Wait, oh, I can't pull it up because he literally just says the N word in the clip. I can't. Okay, but you'll find it in like Keemstar has it on his Twitter account. You can go find it over there. The last panel had some guy go off about having some chickens and it went downhill. Oh god. I can only imagine how well this panel will go. Well, I appreciate the 71 people who showed up to my stream to watch me take a gander at the these political folks. So I can't do N-word towers because I'm 27. Yes, exactly, Savo. Control yourself. Self-control. It's one of the fruits of the spirit in the Bible. FaZe are okay. Well, some people from FaZe. Okay, I like watching like the Warzone YouTubers, the Nuke Squad people. Okay, if y'all know who that is, I watch like Swag and Booyah. Those FaZe people are cool. I like those guys. People like FaZe K. Well, I mean K's not in FaZe anymore, but like those people are yeah. They're not the best people for the scams they pulled. And I'm 33. No, that's Flamenco. Well, I don't know Flamenco's age, but all right, chat. I'm gonna get some water really quick. All right. I don't have anyone in the call to entertain y'all, so I'm gonna get some water. I don't know. Talk about how the water is good. God is good. God is great. I haven't been dragged in yet. Whoa! What? Whoa! Okay, spawn dial. What are we? Whoa, bro, buddy, what are we doing there? Whoa, what the? All right, who wants to be modded? Who wants to be mod? I need more mods. Who wants to be mod? I clearly need more mods in this chat. Because Spawndog has ripped the fat tower. Let's see here. Who'd be a good mod? I'll mod. Yeah, we'll give nerdy. We'll give him a nerdy John mod. Nerdy John seems like a good person for mod. Mod me? Yeah, Sab, a good one. Dang, I don't know if like any of y'all suck. I don't know. Like, there's like no good people to mod. Kikimora. I guess I'll mod you, Kikimora, since like you're the. I guess you're normal. You send me art, so. Give me mod. Wait, Sandwich Man, why aren't you mod? I thought you were mod. Sandwich Man will be mod. Excuse me. Okay, that should be good. Should be good there. Should be good. I got like three more mods added. Okay, y'all mods. Okay, I don't pay you any shekels, all right, but y'all need to do your job. Make sure you do your job. We don't need any more of those towers. Okay. Doc, I want a wrench. I'm not. I'm done. I'm not giving anyone any more wrenches. Okay. I'm not giving them. All right, we got like one more. Like Stars told me to come in here like 5 minutes early. Like where are the people? When are they gonna drag me in? Wait, I'm not even on live chat. Oh shoot. Wait, I thought I was on live chat. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, I just like scam. Whoever was like typing in chat, I just like scammed them. Alright, I have it on live chat now. Okay, it's 4:55. She told me to join 5 minutes earlier. Stardust, what's going on, man? Drag me in. Get me in there. Put me in, coach. I need to talk. I don't know. Didn't get a wrench. You'll get a wrench sometime in the future. When I need more mods. You'll get it. I've been scammed out of mod. William, you've been here for a while, man, but like I've already made my decision. Okay, I'm like the Senate. I'm like Palpatine. Shoving sheep spinning up your bumhole. I don't know. Dude, I'm just like I'm trying to talk, but like the I almost just said a swear. Stardust isn't dragging me in. Am I a good candidate for mod? I've only seen you in like 3 streams. Keemstar wants to call in. Yeah, good one. Okay, we're not gonna be okay. No, we're not being. Don't be racist. Okay, we're not having any of this racism. Okay, I am a person of color. Stardust is a person of color. We're not going to be calling people certain. We're not going to be saying that stuff. Okay, it's not nice. It's not nice. Okay, we're going to be nice. Okay, we're going to smile today. Okay, today is the Lord's Day. What would Jesus do, chat? What would Jesus do? What do you think? Would Jesus say the N-word, chat? Do you really think Jesus would say the N-word? Okay, that's what I thought. So I thought, okay. Wait, Keem actually called into the last Stardust panel? Wait, what? I thought you were trolling. Okay, there's 4 of us. We're waiting here to be dragged in to the street. Nothing's happening. What I call the okay, nice. Almost 100 viewers. Yeah, we got 92 people here. They're gonna watch me. They're gonna watch Doc on the radio. Political activist, writer contributor for the Daily Wire on Stardust left wing panel. This will be great. Chat, what is a woman? What if I ask that question during what do y'all think is a woman? Oh shoot, wait. Are we in here? Why is this dude has his camera on? Oh my god, he's like drinking. Oh wait, I think we're getting dragged in. Oh my god, I'm in. Are we in the panel? I think we're all muted. I'm gonna deafen. Hello.
Hey.
Let me figure out my camera.
Give me 1 second here.
Okay. I am muted on their stream. I'm muted on their thing right now, but I've infiltrated into the Stardust birdie convention. I've infiltrated into the panel. I'm now going to ask. I'm going to call her the. I'm going to call her the word. Holy hell! I could hear like so much, dude. Dude, you know like Augie get. You know like y'all got on Augie for like the background noise, for like his noise gate and stuff, bro. I could hear like her fan. I can hear her fan in the background.
How's it going, guys? Oh, looks like, okay, let me see. Dragging. So not so weird, I was just in here.
Time to radicalize the liberals. Chat, again, you haven't even heard my political opinions. Yeah, I could be Bernie bro. Okay, I could be Yang Gang. You never know. Okay. Like, dude, I can hear. Why can I hear her fan so loud? It's so funny to me. I don't know.
Howdy.
Sure.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
It's going good. How are you doing?
Good.
I am doing great.
I would say it's going good, but I'm not sure how moral the actions I've been committing are as of late, so I'll just say it's going well.
Oh boy.
Do I want to know?
Chat, this is going to be an interesting
Do I
panel
want to know
already.
what you've been up to?
Look. Nothing I do can be as infuriating to the internet culture as just you as a person as of right now.
That's true.
When you came out here and you were like, I'm the #1 villain like 6 months ago. And I was like, no, people hate me on these panels way more than they ever hate you, which is still true. Okay.
I don't know about that one.
But on the internet now, like in the Twitter space and in like the Twitch space, people are like, she platforms Nazis. Like it's like every day. And I'm just like, and meanwhile,
So
I'm just like doing interviews with like detrans people and like watching band documentary and just doing shit that like is so much worse ideologically to them, but
Well,
they just
look.
you're a lefty, so they just fucking hate
I'm not
you
even
so
a
much.
I'm just a liberal, but they hate they hate
No, I'm
they
a
hate
liberal.
liberals.
You're not a liberal.
Stardust,
Please
my
don't
chat
define
was
my name.
already hating on you before I even came into this lobby.
Look, that's commentary community. They
hate you. They hate you. They view you as the villain.
But so does all of politics right
Wait, why
now.
do they hate Stardust, Doc?
Because I'm cringe and annoying, basically.
She went on to some commentary panels, and the commentary community just hates her because of her opinions. It was during the time of Amber Heard, and so they were just
What was
like
before
going
that?
at.
They hated me before that.
Even
they-
before that. Okay, actually, that is true.
What's the
They
main
hate
thing?
the Richard Spencer thing didn't help.
The Richard
What?
Spencer thing didn't
That's the
help,
main
but I
thing?
still stand by it. Tell me
Yeah, of
who
course,
else.
yeah.
Tell me
Stardust
who
is
else has
cringe.
gotten Richard Spencer
Thank you,
to
Keem.
rate tiki torches on a tier list. Tell me.
That was pretty
Game
good.
was contributing.
Tell me
Or
who
garden
else has done it.
culturally appropriating garden gnomes, you know.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
true. He approved the cultural appropriation of garden gnomes. He approved it.
Well, Keemstar thinks you're cringe. Yeah, he just told me that, so there you go.
That's totally fine. I'm totally okay with that. Not anything I'm not used to. So.
Getting hate from Keemstar like kind of like a rite of passage into being like a legitimate YouTuber?
Maybe, I don't know. I think a lot of people think I'm things that I'm not. I think that's part of the issue. So,
Yeah, I could already tell. This is gonna be an interesting night. Okay.
yeah. So it's either like half of the online sphere thinks I'm like a neo-Nazi or a Nazi sympathizer, and then the other half thinks that I'm like a blue-haired SJW. And
won't let
I'm
me
neither
call
one
in.
of those things. So
Yeah, I don't think I was helping that much
never
neither.
escape it though. So, Let's see. Do we have everybody here? Looks like everybody's here. No, not everybody's cameras are on though. So I'll wait for everybody's cameras
I
to
feel
come on.
like chat. I feel like I'm in. I know I'm muted, but I feel like I'm in a Zoom call right now. Like there has to be a turn on my camera and everything. I know that was like a cringe example. Like that's how I feel right now.
I see you, Portland.
I usually don't have my face
Frozen.
cam on for these
Fabian,
kind of streams.
do you have any jokes that you can fill this dead air with?
Oh, good.
Well,
said
Papa
he
Glut's
filled
here.
the
He's
air.
he's the real jokester.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
true.
dude, you're the one. You're the
Your song is
You
iconic.
got jokes.
Yo,
I
Papa.
have a
Jokes
song.
for days.
I have a song?
Don't you have a song where you like play a recorder?
No, I don't know what that is. I got I got
With
Ryan.
another bald guy with a beard.
That's
then.
okay. I got Ryan
I
Beard
oohed
to
for
write
you
me a song.
in the Discord chat, and I now rescind it. I have no longer.
Okay,
oohed
I
for
didn't
you.
know what that meant. I just saw exclamation points, so I kind of
Maybe
just
by the end of our conversation, though, I'll re-oo for you. So
okay.
As usual, we're waiting on flamenco.
Okay.
So
Flamenco.
what flamenco is proving right now, currently, folks, for everyone watching, is that leftists are always
Augie, thank you
late
for becoming a
to
member.
events, right? Like they never show up on
I
time.
just saw that. Thank you.
But flamenco is proving the horseshoe theory, which is if you go far right enough, just like the leftists, you will be late for shit.
Where's Nicholas Diorio?
Yeah, where's Nick, dude? Did you invite Nick Stardust?
I didn't invite Nick to this one. No.
Okay.
Why not? You didn't think he contributed enough last time?
No, I'll invite him. I like to mix it up though. I like to
Okay.
throw different people together. So
I
see
thought
how
that
it
he
goes.
would have a lot to say about grooming.
You know, you could add Keem to the call. He wants to be on.
That's-
Oh my god.
If he really wants to, I'll make an exception for him. But
Oh my God,
but he has
wait.
to rescind his cringe take on me. So
You don't want to hear Keemstar talk about grooming and abortion?
I definitely want to hear about that.
Yeah.
What's up, Fire?
Hey, how's it
what
going,
up,
Doc?
flamenco?
Good, bro.
Does he have the endurance? I mean, like I don't know. Like, has he done?
Yeah, I've chatted with him for a couple hours before.
I was just curious. Like, I'm not even
Oh
like
yeah,
trying
no.
to talk
If
shit. Like,
Keem's offering, we should let him on.
Keem has rescinded
if
the
he wants
statement.
to-
He has rescinded that you are not cringe at the
I
moment.
figured it was
Oh,
just a joke that he
nice.
even offered to
Okay.
come on.
No, he's in my chat and he's offering to come on your show.
Oh
Stardust.
my god.
Okay,
all right, fair
If-
enough.
If this is not a troll, if people are not trolling me,
This
here's
is
the
not a
link.
troll. Drama Alert is in the chat and he wants on.
I wouldn't doubt it. He does
Okay.
have a lot of he has a lot of free time. He doesn't have
All right,
anything
Doc,
better to do.
I have sent you the invite. Flamenco, you still have to turn your camera on. So
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Incredible.
and then
Keem,
you can just tell if he
uh,
actually does join. You can just tell him to join the lobby in the Discord server.
All right.
and
Yeah.
I'll
Let me
let
DM it to him really quick.
him- Okay.
Okay. If this isn't him and somebody yells the N word, I'm gonna be very upset. Okay.
Don't worry, you still won't be 1/5 of the cancel that I am, so it's all good.
Well, I don't care about being canceled. I just don't want to lose my Twitch.
Yeah. What else will you have after that? Right.
Yeah.
I don't think
well, I
Keem's
just-
ever yelled out that though. Like on,
No, I don't think
like
Keemstar
recently.
would.
Where's your
Not
Discord,
Keem,
Keem?
just
No,
some
I think
No,
random-
it's saying they're like random
saying they're
Are you in my-
Keemstar. I don't think Keemstar would say that. I'm talking about. A
Oh well,
troll
his
that-
like official like Twitter just added Stardust, so I don't think it's the
Oh,
Colton
did it?
guy that
Oh, my bad.
pretends to be
Yeah.
other
Oh
people.
my god. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I
Keem.
used to like have that problem,
Oh, I
and
can't
then like
add
I had
Keem.
to turn on like certain security
I have Papa
verification, like
added.
on the Discord, and like
Keem,
running
join
an
Stardust, Discord.
anarcho-capitalist, like hardcore libertarian Discord. People are like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like, why do I have to link my personal information to Discord? Like, they have my phone number." Like, and like people were really mad.
You just
And I was like,
violated the
dude,
NF. You just violated
yeah,
the
and
NAP,
I'm like,
bro.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. This is my private property.
Papa,
like,
could you
and,
send
I don't want people coming
the
on here
server
screaming the
invite
N-word.
to
Maybe
Keem?
maybe Keemstar will invite you to do a podcast with him. Stardust.
I mean, he's offering $50,000 now, so
I think that was
I-
just for DSP and them. I think that was just for them.
I doubt
As-
that.
Yeah,
offer's
I don't
going
have you
my
added, Keem,
way.
so I-
But before, I guess while we're waiting for him, I'll outline some stuff. If you guys haven't watched the show before, it's like my semi-blood sports, semi-casual debate panel, and we go through 3 topics, depending, on how things feel and how people are feeling. Sometimes we might stick longer on a topic. A couple of things. I yell sometimes, my chat thinks it's hilarious. I don't really care what your chat thinks, but my chat thinks it's hilarious. And so if I yell at you, don't take it personally. It's never meant to be personal. I'm just doing it because my chat thinks it's funny. Secondly, if at any time you need anything, just send me a private message. Thirdly, have fun and stuff. And when I ask nicely for things, please try to respect that. I don't want to be.
You're not in the
mean
join the
for
lobby
me.
VC
So,
like in the live.
if you guys want to go around and give your intros, maybe. Doc, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I can start off. Yeah, hello everyone. I'm new to the Stardust panel. This is actually my first political panel I'm doing. My name's Doc on the radio. I'm a YouTube topic commentator. I host a weekly show called Spurgort where I talk about Spurgs and retards online. I also I guess my political leaning would be I don't really have I don't really identify a specific political party, but I am right leaning a lot of issues. Yeah, nice to meet all of you. Thank you, Stars, for hosting the show.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for accepting my invite. Whoa, hey, what up, Keem? Next person on the intro list, Fabian.
Yes, so I am Scott from Fabian Liberty. You can call me Fabian. I don't care. Just don't call me Fabian. And Stardust has finally stopped doing it. I
What about
appreciate
Fabio?
that. You know what? Go for it. I'll
Okay.
consider it a compliment. So I'm a anarcho-capitalist duo stream. We do political analysis. We do some philosophy readings. Occasionally do some gaming stuff. Rarely. Mostly, primarily on Twitch. But if you look for Fabian Liberty, you can find me on YouTube and Twitter as well. Doing a lot of interviews lately. It's been a lot of fun. We interviewed Tulip R. We interviewed Amy Ham. We interviewed Buck Angel.
All right,
A lot of libertarians.
Wrap it up, Fabian.
All right. But Tuesday, if you want to learn about abortion debate and you want to learn about evictionism, we will be talking, which is the libertarian position on abortion. We will be talking to Dr. Walter Block, famous Austrian economist, on Tuesday at 8 p.m. You should check it out.
Wow.
And the
what an
inventor of
interview.
evictionism.
What an interview. Factitionalist.
Thank you so much. I am Kaz of Factitionalist Network and Atheist Edge YouTube channels, respectively. We do debates, discussions, political, atheism, religion, anything really, anything taboo, anything difficult to discuss. We just like to discuss anything. So let's see.
Cool. Flamenco.
Skip me real quick. I need to get my sound fixed.
Oh,
Okay.
Flamenco.
My name is Keemstar. I was born on March 8th, 1982. It was a mild day, a little cloudy. As a younger person, I wanted to be a clown. Grew up on a dairy farm. Didn't really like doing that shit. Got paid little money. When I grew up, I knew that I wanted to entertain people and do business. Started off right out of high school being a bill collector. I was really good at it. Figured out the whole business aspect. Came home to play some Halo 3, was talking some shit, told this dude I was going to bend his grandmother over my knee, shave her ass hair, roll it up in a blunt, and make him smoke it, and then I said a derogatory term. Somebody in that game recorded me, put it up on YouTube, and the next day I went on Xbox Live, and my inbox was filled. Everybody saw me on YouTube. I didn't even know I was going on YouTube or how this even took place. They asked me to make videos. I made videos with them. Started the first trolling and gaming entertainment content, which lasted somewhere between 2009 to like 2011. Blew up a Minecraft clone on the Xbox 360. Became a self-made multimillionaire, got a little bored, bought some Bitcoin at $7.50, was rolling in the dough, didn't know what I was going to do. There was a show on HBO, it was called Newsroom, addicted to it, absolutely loved it. So I would pretend online to be like a news anchor, but I needed a hashtag, came up with the hashtag Drumler, and then one day I decided to make a video. That took off, blew off, started Friday Fortnite, Minecraft Monday. Happy Punch, my new boxing brand, and now I'm here on this show. So things have been going downhill.
Thanks. All right, not so erudite.
Yeah, my name is Not So Erudite. I was also born at the ripe young age of 0. I do kind of politics and psychology on Twitch and YouTube. You can also find me sometimes on TikTok. I am also kind of getting wrapped up. Stardust, you've pulled me into the dredges on Twitter, and now
So
I'm getting
sorry.
wrapped up in it. But I actually am white, so that attack is valid. Other than that, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Papa Gut.
I'm Papa Gut. I'm a Disney adult, and this is a little fun fact about me. I actually created the flavor cotton candy.
Cool. Portland is burning.
Feel
Who
bad,
looks
nobody
like he's
laughed.
frozen. He looks like he's frozen. We're gonna go back to Flamenco. Flamenco.
Yeah, hi, I'm Flamenco TV. I do a wide smattering of different topics of interest to myself on
Jesus
YouTube.
Christ.
I cover anime shit. I cover VTuber shit. I cover eccentric individuals on the internet. I cover basically whatever catches my interest. So
Cool.
Awesome.
Portland. Portland is burning.
Very sorry, guys. I'm having a little technical issue over here. I need to switch something up real quick.
Your mic is not working, sir.
Okay, well, I'm Stardust.
He was
Anything's
already
working.
trolling.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm Stardust. You may know me as the person who everybody has said is white on Twitter. Also, neo-Nazi, apparently. I was not aware of that one. Also, blue-haired screaming SJW. I was also not aware of that one. I'm everything that, cringe in one person. Thanks for joining my show. Looks like Portland has now left due to his technical difficulties. Hopefully he'll rejoin. Oh, here he is. I'll drag him back in. Portland, did you want to introduce yourself?
Very embarrassing, guys. My apologies. Can you hear me okay?
Your mic sounds like absolute trash, my dude. It sounds like absolute garbage.
Jesus.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I
Sorry,
guess
did Ethan
my,
Klein join the call?
guess my
God.
QA sesh before this didn't pay dividends. So, if you want to just exclude me
Chat,
from
Stardust
the call,
panel
if it
off to a
sounds like
great
you-
start
You know
right
what?
now.
We will go forward. We'll and you can try
Are
to
you
fix
starting
your
your
stuff.
computer?
And you can try to fix your stuff, and then we try again, I guess. We'll go forward with the first topic. Okay, topic number 1. And now we do opening statements, but I would prefer if you guys keep it really short so we can just go straight into open floor discussion. Everybody can yell at each other, okay? So topic number 1, I'm going to name it, and then we'll go around. We'll do very short opening statements. Conservative activists, having won their goal of being able to criminalize abortion, are now aiming to limit or ban online information sharing on the topic. Social media websites such as Facebook and Instagram are already removing posts about abortion pill accessibility. Is there a legitimate concern about censorship, and how can we walk the line between irresponsibly allowing the promotion of pharmaceutical drugs on social media and allowing important information to people who need it? Who wants to go? Well, you know what? We're gonna go. Doc. Doc, what's your opinion on this?
If the censorship is actually taking place, I think that is pretty bad. I'm a very big guy on like free speech and stuff. So, I mean, if you're out there and you're saying like, I mean, even if it's about like abortion pills and stuff, honestly, I don't really give a shit. You can do whatever you say, whatever you want. If you're like restricting that, then fuck you, I guess.
Cool. Fabian.
Yeah, so I would say that so long as companies are private companies, I don't give a fuck what they ban or don't ban. I do find it kind of funny that like conservatives have been censored for like the past 5 to 10 years on social media, and now all of a sudden like there's some censorship, that's disproportionately affecting the left. Like we're mad about it. I would say that if you want to understand this better, read Justice Thomas's Cert of Denial regarding Section 230. You can Google it pretty easily. It's a pretty long document, but I think it's very obvious that the lower courts are not interpreting Section 230 in an appropriate way. And so people ought to be able to sue when their things are editorialized, especially if they're going to be getting funds and help from the state and exclusivity from the state and certain protections afforded to them by the state. Ultimately, though, yeah, I am, like, in terms of my personal values, I am a free speech advocate. But I think it's stupid, mostly because someone that wants an abortion is not worried about a fucking Keffel's tweet thread. right? Like that's not how they're getting that information if they're going to go circumnavigate the legal systems to try and do a self-performed abortion. They're gonna be obsessed. They're gonna look online. They're gonna try and find it. And really, all it is lefty brownie points trying to be like, look at me, I'm one of the good guys. I'll share this medical thread that I can't verify and don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And the whole thing, the whole controversy in and of itself is kind of silly from that perspective.
Okay. The order is now different. I don't know what happened. How did the order... Oh, you changed your name. Okay.
Yo, Ethan Klein in the call. Let's go.
Oh no.
All right, factitionalist.
All right, just call me Kaz. So there's facts of the matter to be known, I guess. I have the articles pulled up from AP News, from The Hill, as much as you want to trust them. But as far as I can tell, it doesn't seem like there's any censorship going on. It just seems to be relics of the kind of misinformation or disinformation control measures that they've put in place from COVID, the kind of things that we want to avoid, such as people trying to push ivermectin or hydrochloroquine. It's the same kind of thing. So, I don't think there's a legitimate concern at all. Thanks.
Cool. We'll go to Ethan Klein.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't think that you have I don't think that there's a very valid argument for censorship to be made when it is the same issue of private
Oh my
companies.
goodness, my dude.
You are talking about like 15 feet away from the mic, it sounds like.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to just drop off.
I
because
literally can't hear anything. I hear
Okay.
nothing.
Yeah.
I
Huh.
will have to drop off. I am very sorry about.
Oh,
the
it's okay.
technical over here.
Yeah. No problem. Let me know if
I'll take care
later
of it.
on if you're able to. Yeah.
Try disabling
about
your
10.
webcam mic. That might be what's going on. You might be using your webcam mic on accident. Make sure your actual microphone is the one that you're using for your input on Discord.
I was
give me
calling on the
about-
other Ethan Klein, the Papa Gut, anyways. But yeah, Portland is burning. Why don't you go sort it out? Let me know. Hit me up in DMs if you're able to fix it. Okay. So.
Will do. Thanks, Star.
Yeah.
Am I up?
Right. Yes, you're up. Since you
Okay,
changed your name.
okay. Sorry.
Fucked up my order.
That didn't change my name at all. It's my name. But okay. So based on the question, obviously I'm pro-choice. I don't know what you guys are, but I can understand why social media companies are going to try to, I guess you'd say, censor this information. If it's considered illegal in particular states, they're probably trying not to allow them access to illegal information or information that's considered illegal. Additionally, I don't know if I'm interpreting this last part of the question correctly, but talking about like the promotion of pharmaceutical drugs, I don't think that anybody should be like self-diagnosing or self-treating when it comes to drugs. At the best that you could really advocation that you could give to somebody who lives in a state where it's illegal to get an abortion is to go somewhere where it's not, and don't tell anybody, because you could get arrested if you come back. It's just not an ideal situation, but like I understand why what's happening is happening.
Flamenco.
I guess like the main problem with the prompt is that there's a couple of things. Like one, the Supreme Court didn't like criminalize abortion; it just turned it over to states and their decisions to do so. And by and large, this might have been a problem maybe 50 or 60 years ago when travel was a lot more difficult. But like even now, it's relatively easy to travel to a state that would have like allotments for abortion, especially if like multiple companies trying to win brownie points by saying, "Oh well, we'll pay for your abortion and your all your travel expenses." So I don't think there's going to be like a super hard burden for mostly anybody on this. The advertisement stuff, I'm wondering, is it because of like backlash towards like abortion being advertised at all, or is it due to in fear of like, I guess somebody said, legal ramifications, which I don't think is true either. So
What are you talking about? Like going to another state to get an abortion and coming back?
Yeah, I don't think there's.
You could get arrested for that. Yeah.
Which legislation has that in right
That's
now?
just my understanding that those individual states will do that.
Yeah, I'm asking for like legislation
Didn't Texas
specifically.
introduce-
Oh,
didn't
sorry.
Texas
I
introduce
heard it
something?
from Destiny, so I'm gonna take it as a reasonable. Yeah. So that's
I'm
I think
pretty
that's
sure that
reasonable.
First
Texas
mistake.
introduced something.
First mistake.
So,
But I think that we shouldn't normalize capitulation towards social pressures for pretty much anything, as well as like advertising or anything like that. for the most part anyway, because that becomes a real slippery slope.
Cool. Not so erudite. Oh wait, no. Sorry, Keemstar.
I'm pro-choice, but another person that's pro-choice is I had to look him up. Forgot his name. Larry Flint. Anyone familiar with him? He owns a company called BlackRock. It's like a huge company, right? And they have these scores, right? It's a huge investment company, right? So every company out there that's trading on the market, right? They have to have there's this score. Let me look it up real quick. It's called the
ESG.
ESG score, right? So if you want to get investment, every company has to have a good ESG score, right? And this guy from BlackRock, like, he's very, very powerful. He might be the powerful person on the entire fucking globe, because whoever controls the money controls the world, right? And so if they want investments, they have to have that good ESG score. So all these companies are out there being over the top woke, to get these good scores, to get investment. So what we're seeing online is just a lot of bullshit, a lot of smoking mirrors, a lot of fakeness. It's really hard to get real news. It's hard to get real statements from companies. It's hard to get what anyone really thinks anymore because everything is clouded by fucking money. So at the end of the day, I don't know. We're fucked.
Cool. Not so erudite.
Sure. So when it comes to like social media censorship, I kind of hold the same positions that I've always held for any form of social media censorship, which is kind of actually ironically a bit like Fabian. I think private companies get to do what they want. It's just annoying when they virtue signal that they're doing it for like some good moral reason. It's typically because essentially they don't want problematic things in their backyard. They're just being like online NIMBYs, which a business can do. I don't think it's wise in general. I prefer to allow people to be able to engage in the what I would consider like the social square, which is the online space. I think it is better to allow that. However, when we're getting into things like misinformation, I'm not sure. The prompt kind of implied that it's conservatives that are pushing to get things banned off of about like abortion pharmaceuticals. I haven't seen any evidence that it's specifically conservatives. I can't remember. Somebody said this, maybe Factitionalist said something about it might just be a bit of a layover from some of the COVID stuff. So I'd be curious as to like why some of these things are being taken down. And then when we get into like the specific people posting about like DIY abortion stuff or even like DIY, like, let's focus on abortion stuff. You've got like this weird mixture of probably well-meaning actors, probably some really bad actors taking advantage of a shitty situation. And you have potentially like high-risk DIY things happening. And so I think it's just really complex. It's hard to like come down firmly on one side with the layers of questions we have. But yeah, that's where I'll start for now.
Cool. All right. We'll just open it up then to discussion.
Yeah, I'm still, I guess, kind of confused as to what states are, I guess, considering implementing laws that would jail people that travel out of the state and then back into the state after getting an abortion.
Well, I didn't say jail,
None.
but apparently Mississippi and Texas are considering it. No.
Yeah, so presently
what would
Texas and
they do?
Mississippi are considering it. They're
I don't know.
basically
I don't live
planning to criminalize abortion, and then they're also planning to basically fine and potentially criminalize people who aid and abet. However, what that actually means isn't clear at this point. It would be a crazy precedent to basically have somebody in your state, be charged for doing a non-crime in another state. I'm very dubious that will actually happen, but there's some fears. That's where it's coming from.
Again, I'm pro-choice, but I kind of like.
Can you link a source about like the actual like language of the laws that they're considering?
Sure. I'm
pro-choice, but I kind of like that states have. I like how states have multiple different rules and sets because it gives us more freedom, right? You can decide which state you want to live in and which rules best suit you.
Well, I don't think you can just decide what state you want to live in. It's not that simple as to like you could just pick up and move. It's not,
Well, I mean, it is for
Keemstar. He's a millionaire.
I think most people.
Not at all. I think that most people don't have the decision to just kind of get up and move.
So
Like,
wait,
just
you don't
financially.
you
not
don't you don't know
move, but-
anybody in your personal life that moved to a different state? Because I know many.
Well, because you probably have affluent friends like yourself, and me too, because I make a decent money.
Blue collar friends.
Yeah,
who
most-
take a job down in Texas or
Yes,
move to
those people
California or
exist.
whatever.
But most
let's
people
not-
can't just
let's-
pick up and move. I'm just
Let's
saying
not
most
say
people.
Most people. Let's not say most
I
people. 'cause
think
that's not
most
true.
people is reasonable.
It's
not
typically the
true.
people who can't move are typically going to be disproportionately affected by almost all policy, because more often the people that are impacted by like policies that target poor individuals is often going to be people on disability, single mothers who like have like basically zero like financial liquidity at all, and are basically living like purely from like paycheck to paycheck on like pure assets. So typically when we're talking about this, I'm not even arguing with anyone, just like adding some nuance of what's going on. We're talking about disabilities, single moms, distinctly when we're talking about these types of things.
I think it's
So,
also important to point out that women disproportionately don't move to other states, right? And we're talking. I mean, like, and I normally I
What?
wouldn't like. No, it's true that men are far more likely to move to another state for a job and like leave behind, like their support system and things like that to go take like a better job in another state.
How
or
are all
to
these
move somewhere.
females? How are all these
Well-
females
well, no-
going to college? How are they going to college like out of state? That's
Keemstar,
weird.
Keemstar,
Well,
Keemstar, like I'm an anarchist, right? Like I don't want the state involved at all. I'm just pointing out like what I think is relevant information here. If we're talking about individuals that feel like, because I don't believe in negative rights, I think it's all bullshit. But if you're talking about people that feel trapped in a certain way, like we are also going to be talking about disproportionately females.
Yeah, someone in Dox's chat who's a female said, I moved to another state. I think your point where guys are more willing to move by themselves
Yeah.
is probably correct. It's probably correct. You know, females, like, you know, you're living a different experience and you got to worry about all kinds of dangers that men don't necessarily have to worry about. But let's be honest, like how many people do we know, friends of ours, just whoever, right, that move to another state? That's a very common thing. And if there are different rule sets in every different state, that gives us more freedom as Americans to live under different governance. And I like it.
So
I mean,
just also-
localization is cool, but I mean, like even West Virginia will fucking pay you to move there.
So I just read the source that Erudite said, and it actually says the exact opposite of what you were claiming, that it
Not at
doesn't
all.
have any
I've made
permission.
no
No,
claim.
it's literally asked in the question. Will
And I told you no.
is it
What
illegal
do you
for me?
mean?
Or wait, what did you say?
I don't think you heard me. Maybe you're misunderstanding maybe
Uh-huh.
my view from Papa Guts, but
Oh,
I
okay,
told
Papa
you
Guts.
that no at this point, and then I outlined to you where the fears are precisely coming from. But I said at this
Okay.
point, no. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, because like according to this, it's not like a crime to leave
Yeah.
the state, get an abortion, come back.
Yeah,
I don't think
so
I don't
yeah.
think any state like feasibly can do that either.
That's what I said. Yeah, it would be
yeah.
insane. Like it would be an insane precedent to basically like say it's a crime to do something in
If I
Texas,
may.
but not California. But if you go to yeah, okay, go ahead.
If I may, I believe that that's a violation of the Constitution, the freedom of movement under the Privileges and Immunities Clause.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
But you know,
I mean,
we are now
state
in the
violates the
era
Constitution
of
quite
the
often.
Yeah.
the Trump manufactured Supreme Court. So who knows how they will interpret anything? So I mean, maybe
It's-
that isn't real anymore, and maybe you
I don't-
can
I don't
be
know that
prosecuted for going
I
across
don't know
state
that
lines and smoking a joint or whatever. You know.
Is there? I don't know that there's anything the Supreme Court has done recently that's like out of right or left field. But
Well, they upended what is it? Darius State. Oh man,
Stare
the word
decisis.
stasis. Yes, thank you
stare
so much.
decisis, yeah,
Stare
stare
decisis.
decisis.
They upended that entirely. It's just totally.
I don't
ignored
think
it.
that they upended stare decisis at all.
Are
don't.
any states talking
I mean,
about
like if you want,
condoms?
like if you talk about stare decisis and you look at, let's say, the witness, when Congress was speaking to,
Okay, so
when Congress was speaking to Amy Coney Barrett, right, and they brought up abortion, right, and they brought up stare decisis, and her answer, I think, quite literally shows that it was that Roe v. Wade was a bad decision, that it's obviously not considered settled law because there's constant challenges to it. It doesn't fall under stare
Right.
decisis.
it's not stare decisis because, and I'm not 100% sure. I didn't read the whole thing. I was reading the syllabus, right? And apparently the syllabus of a Supreme Court opinion is not actually binding. So I don't know if this is replicated in the opinion yet. I have to read the whole thing. That's my caveat, right?
Fair enough.
But
What he's
apparently, part of the logic behind this not being stare decisis is that it's not argued the actual logic of Roe v. Wade isn't addressed in the opinion of Casey and all the other subsequent decisions. And when I was reading Casey and other subsequent decisions, I did see the logic and the other legal arguments in Roe being addressed. So, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, of course, so I don't know. And I think a great lawyer friend who's going to review it with me. And anybody else who wants to join me for that stream, we can all totally do a deep dive into Casey, into Dobbs, and into all of them. But I don't agree. I think stare decisis being upended is what happened there.
A great thing for you to read if you want to look into it further, right? And like get like a more lefty approach as opposed to like maybe like hearing from me or from a righty, right? Is to just read what
I don't care about your political leanings.
Well, no, I'm saying like just read what
expertise.
Right, I'm saying just read what Ruth Bader Ginsburg wrote about it in Legal Review, right? And like why she thought it was such a problematic case and was a weak case. And she actually had a better case that she thought would have been much, much better, which was a female that was forced to either choose between staying deployed or staying in the military in Vietnam or having her child and things like that. So like, I think it gives you a better understanding of like why Roe v. Wade was an issue in and of itself.
You're saying Ruth Bader Ginsburg opinion about the Roe v. Wade case. I'll look that up.
And some subsequent case. I want to say it was like 94. I can't remember the exact year, but it was in Legal Review.
But what I'll do is I'll critique that too, because I mean everybody is logically fallible at some point.
It's just nice to get like a lefty perspective.
But even Ruth Bader Ginsburg as well.
By the way, sorry to interrupt, but just so you guys know, in the group chat, I linked the thing that I was referencing when I'm talking about online basically censorship regarding like abortion pills, things like that. So if you guys wanted to glance over it, just let me know.
Are they banning condoms?
Probably not.
Not yet. So
no, have they tried? Because I know some of these religious people like literally like won't let their people wear condoms. Like I'm serious.
Yeah, contraceptives like that are disallowed with Catholicism specifically, I think.
Is that what's going to happen next in some of these states in the middle
probably
of the country?
Not. I don't think
not.
Probably wise to stay away from like slippery slope, like fear mongering about this stuff. Like I think that's where a lot of like bad ideas on the left have been coming out with Roe v. Wade. Is they're like, oh, if it's this, next it's this, and next it's this, and it's like, well, like we have to be careful about like not being too fear mongery and being focused on like what's actually happened right now. So like if you're for basically some level of federal protection for abortion, probably the main thing you should be focusing on is not like, are they going to take condoms next? Seems pretty unreasonable. Probably more important is actually like, how do we federally protect this if that's something that you value within your kind of American rights?
In terms of federal, it's probably not going to.
I want to say something really quick about the condom thing, because in my religion, it's not against using a condoms. It's just for always raw dogging. That's my religious practice.
What's your religion?
Is that Catholicism?
Something like that.
No, I think the Vatican like expressly said that you're not allowed to like use contraceptives of any form.
Sex is procreative.
Yeah.
The Vatican themselves specifically said raw dogging only.
True. The Pope came right out of his mouth.
Raw dog. I mean, you can raw dog and also molest children. That's what the Vatican said you could do.
Jesus,
okay, Papa Gut. You're more likely
of a lie of omission. But,
you're more likely to get molested as a kid in the American school system than you are in the Catholic Church, dude. This Reddit atheism shit is like kind of cute.
Proportionally, it's the.
Like, dude,
you have some data to back that up.
Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Is that your sources?
Yeah, do you have the data to back it up?
Back that up.
Yeah,
I would love to see that.
Catholic people molesting children. Is that what you're doing right now?
That will change the paradigm of my thinking forever.
I don't think Fomenko was offending the Catholics molesting children.
No, I'm just saying that the Catholic Church molests kids is like such a 14-year-old Reddit atheist joke.
I want to know.
I'm genuinely interested. I'm genuinely interested if you have something on that. I would love to see it.
I believe it's older kids that get taken advantage of, like high schoolers and stuff in the public school system.
Yeah.
Where in the Catholic Church it was more younger boys.
Yeah.
I guess some girls. I think that's the difference.
I think the entire idea.
A little bit more concerned with the younger ones.
I think look, obviously there's issues within the Catholic Church, right? Like obviously there was, a lot of hiding it and shoving. I think, Boston Chronicle, Boston Globe, I can't remember. I can't remember which of those it was, but regardless, by breaking open that story was very important. But hey, can somebody say something real quick? I think my audio just clipped.
Check.
Testing.
You're-
Oh no,
Hi.
okay, good. Sorry. So I think the really important thing here to understand is that while institutions can have failures in the way that they deal with these issues, the fact of the matter is that predators will always exist, and they will look for places where they have access to children and where the rules are set in such a way that other parents aren't directly involved, right? And so, be it the Catholic Church, be it public education, be it something else, like these predators don't magically go away, right? They live amongst us, and they're going to find those places to abuse children.
Shouldn't there be a background search for every Minecraft YouTuber or Roblox YouTuber? No, serious.
Obviously.
I mean, I
Or
would agree with
Discord
that.
server that allows
Don't
cat
you-
boys.
Do you find it kind of strange that you got grown-ass adults that become like Minecraft YouTubers and they talk to
Their
the kid
houses
audience?
should be
Hey
labeled
guys,
by the
what's
county
going on?
surveyor.
Today can I be the asshole to pose the question of why are we talking about cat boys and Roblox? I thought we were talking about abortion.
We're gonna
pills
get
on
way off
social
the
media.
rails a bunch of
Did
times.
Get a ways off.
Well, really quickly, to your point about Minecraft, Keemstar, don't you realize that you're more likely to get molested in the school system? Like, why would you even bring that point up? It's like a 15-year-old Reddit atheist thing.
Because you made the joke, dum dum. What are you talking
Okay,
about?
wait, Flamenco, if you can actually.
Yeah, I'm looking at it real quick.
I'm just gonna Google it myself.
Thank you.
All
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look that up.
Secondly, welcome back, Portland. I have you turned up quite a bit. So maybe test. We'll do a test.
You hear me okay?
I hear you
Barely
better now.
at 200%, but yes.
I hear
Portland,
better
are you
now.
in Antifa?
I'm one of the chapter leaders, actually. So
He's actually the
business
CEO
card,
of
prepare for
Antifa.
it.
You're the
Really?
CEO of racism.
You don't look like a
We're
heroin addict. Holy shit.
We're a decentralized organization. I'm a chapter leader, not CEO.
Oh my
We
god, I
don't
need to do an
believe in-
interview with you.
You know what?
That would
This
be
is
so
how I
great.
actually know that if that he's LARPing to a certain degree, because everyone in Antifa actually gets that joke.
Wait, can you guys all hear this person? I really can't hear him at all.
He is very quiet.
I
I
haven't
can
turned up to
honestly
200%.
hear
Sorry
him.
for that.
I can hear him pretty well. Like I've got him turned up, but it's just
Guy with
Oh,
hat,
it's
can
the
you hear me
max.
better now?
Okay. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to hear this one.
Fair enough. Well, I don't want to shout, but I do think there's an important line to draw in the conversation about contraception between the like condoms and other forms of traditional contraception and the morning after pill, which is being suggested for being legislated against in some conservative states, and access to that is being actively restricted in similar ways to actual abortion. So there's some merit to the conversation, but I don't think there's really any concern about like actual condoms and other prophylactic measures being restricted in any meaningful degree.
Cool.
Cool. You guys hear it?
Okay, I didn't hear a thing he said, and you said cool.
TLDR, basically probably being fear-mongering about
Thank you,
condoms
Fez.
not wise, but there are concerns in certain conservative states of banning Plan B, so like day after pills.
By the way, I
Well, I
just
mean,
linked
the
something
problem-
in the group. Oh, sorry.
Well, the
I
problem
just-
is. Go ahead.
I just linked something in the group chat about the sex abuse thing. So it's disputed. So we can take a look at that later if you guys
I
really
mean,
want
according
to.
to Newsweek, like Catholic priests molest kids at the same rate as like everybody else, essentially.
That's awesome.
Kids are going
Thank
to be
God.
a lot less likely to be
Yeah.
in Catholic schools or
I'm
Catholic areas.
I'm
than,
so glad
public
about that
schools
one.
most of the time.
We're going really hard on this weird joke
I'm
that I
glad
made.
that we
this-
we need
Well,
to
it's not
even
really.
it
Is
out.
it really
People
a weird
are
joke,
not-
or is it
people
just
are-
sort of indicative of
people are
a
not-
fedora tipping mindset
There's
that
a
I'm just sort of
disproportionate
like finding
representation of certain
annoying?
groups in the child molesting groups, right? And I think we need to even it out, right? We need to make some of these people go down and some of these people come up. We just got to even it across the board, right?
Is there anyone
I'm
here
not
that's
sure.
pro-life? Is there any pro-life people here?
Yeah, I'm pro-life.
I mean, I'm an evictionist, so
So if you're
I think
pro-life,
abortion is murder.
if you're pro-life, does Plan B go against your opinion, or do you have a problem with Plan B?
That's like before
Morning
the-
after pill.
It typically prevents
n-
implantation, or
no,
like,
I don't-
if it's implanted, it'll move it out.
like personally I wouldn't use it, but like I don't think it goes against pro-life.
Well, I
Well, I
wouldn't
would hope
use
you
it
wouldn't
It's
use
a-
it.
only
That would
with
be a
vagina.
bad choice. Don't
It's
take
a
Plan B.
it's a great
Yeah,
it's
I'm
a
a-
gray
yeah.
area.
If you have a penis,
If
that
I
would be a
was
bad
if I was
choice
a
for you.
woman, I'd be taking it, but I'm not. So
It's
You can
it's
be
a
a
great
woman
Jumped on
if
that.
you
It's
want.
a-
oh, that is true.
It's
Wait,
not
oh,
like
that am I
it's a
sexist?
great-
I said that. I
it's
can't be a
a
woman.
it's a gray area because there is some people would argue that by stopping it that's a problem. Like I don't think that goes against the pro-life position, but by preventing a fertilized egg from becoming a zygote, like maybe you can make some weird pro-life argument there. And so because of that, the issue really is that the pro-life philosophy is one that that you cannot evict or you cannot kill any form of a fertilized egg because that's a human life. And so I think there is kind of a gray area about Plan B, but for the most part, I would say that most pro-life people accept Plan B because it's mostly just designed to prevent the fertilization of the egg.
But not just human life, because then they would not be okay with any kind of killing at all whatsoever in any situation, right?
What do you
So
mean
it's
not
like
just
something
human
It
else.
life?
depends. It depends.
you
Like
mean?
if you think human life starts at conception, then the number one killer of all human life is not
Abortion.
implanting. No, not implanting. 50% of
It's miscarriage.
fertilized eggs just
Yeah,
They
never
miscarriage.
implant.
Like I think it's 1 in 4 women. 1 in
God
4
is the number one killer.
pregnancies.
She's saying.
One
I would
in
say
4
biology, but
pregnancies, and 1 in 4 pregnancies. I think early pregnancies end in miscarriage. So,
Well, yeah. So I mean,
Yes.
technically, abortion is a form of miscarriage, so it's still technically still an abortion if you have a miscarriage. But I get the colloquial difference.
I don't really
Elon
view a
Musk
miscarriage
says
as like an
that-
abortion. In my
Well, I just
opinion,
mean like
but-
medically. The
Okay, yeah,
term
medically,
abortion
yes, but-
includes
okay.
miscarriage
the
as
medical
well.
term is spontaneous
Abort,
abortion
abort.
Yeah.
versus.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Personally, I think we should take it further. I think because my understanding is that fat people and people who are older tend to have a higher chance of the pregnancy not going through. So we should kind of outlaw being fat or having
Right, or
babies too old
smoking.
as well. Yeah,
Right?
smoking.
Smoking.
We should
Women
give
aren't
everybody.
allowed to
Yeah.
smoke.
Or
No, I
vaping.
mean anybody. You can't take any medications that may have a negative impact on having a kid. We should just go as far as possible.
Microwaves.
Starbucks.
Yeah, Mike, yeah.
Starbucks.
5G.
Starbucks. No,
Let's
Starbucks
look here.
paper
So-
cups. A lot of microplastics and
I
infertility.
want to give
Charred
Tina
meat.
for a moment to
Charred
speak here.
meat.
It looks like he has something to say. He's
Elon
trying to-
Musk says that the Western world basically isn't breeding enough. We're not making enough people over in the Western world.
Facts.
And we've seen
Based.
what's happening over in Japan, right? Japan people are not breeding, all right? But you know who is? China. They making people left and
But
right.
we don't have to really worry about that issue here because we allow immigration, so we don't have to worry about an aging population. That's the biggest problem with that. So
Well, what I'm saying is
we need more white people.
You
Is
know,
what you're saying, right?
we need more people in general. We need more people in general. Don't you think?
Based.
I don't think so. I don't think we need
I
more
mean, a
people
world war.
necessarily.
World war has to be coming. Look at NATO, bro. NATO is
Just
building
first
up for
banning
a
the
fight.
condoms and
Yeah, what
second
kind of
World
people
War
do
II.
you
Why
want?
do you think we need more?
What kind of
Why
people
do
do you
you think
want,
we need
Kim?
more people in North America? Just like all people?
We just need more people in general for the future war. There's going to be a war, World War
Most people would
III,
just mean
and
a
then
smaller war, though.
That's true.
then
There would just be less
also-
casualties. We should actually
All-
kill more people so that there's less people
mean-
to die in the war that later happens.
There's
and then
also
there's less
going to be
casualties
a
for it.
war against the robots. And look, dude, if we have low numbers on the robots, there's nothing
If the
we can
robot's
do.
sentient though, and
Why
then
would there
we
be
kill it,
robots?
is that a casualty?
Could
It
you
is,
fuck the
it is.
robots though?
What I'm saying is,
Robots
Can
have
robots have
only way-
abortion?
piece of shit.
the
What if you
only-
can have a child with a robot?
Yeah, could you
the
abort the
only way
child?
Still a
we can
robot?
the only way we can beat the robot army is through numbers. That's the only way because they're
Or
going
if
to be so
Robots
much
don't
better
have a
than
will
us.
to live, so they
If
wouldn't fight
we
us.
have robots in existence, though, that means that we can focus our hatred on robots, and there would be less racism in the world. So if
Why
robot
don't we
war
just
might actually be
introduce-
Oh
better.
my god, you
robots to
solved it.
nihilism. Let's just introduce robots to nihilism, and then they'll just
yeah,
give
we'll
up,
just
won't try,
load the
and that'll be the end of
robots
it.
onto fucking Reddit.
I would like to say that as an anarcho-capitalist that derives most of my philosophy from the ideas of personhood, that I will fight with the robots against you. They deserve
You have to
personhood.
plug your
Once they
ideology
reach,
every single
once
time
they
you
once they
speak.
reach
As
sentience,
an
all right.
anarcho-capitalist, every
It's
time
not
this dude
sentience,
speaks,
it's
every
sapience.
time.
Hey, you know what? If you said your ideology more often, Stardust, maybe people would stop calling you a Nazi.
Okay.
That's
all
not
right.
how this works.
Do you? Well, really quick though, you said you're going to fight with the robots. Do you think that the robots will accept gay people?
I think
I
they will.
robots
I
will
think
fight
they
with
will.
robots.
Oh,
We have
okay.
gay
They don't accept
robots.
any
Come
people.
on.
That's why they're fighting the humans.
This is so off topic.
Wait, I
Wait,
actually have something on
robots
topic
even
I want
have
to
a
bring up.
concept of like, being gay because they're robots?
I was just calling the guy gay. You guys
Right.
missed it. Anyway, can I actually have like something a little
Go
bit on
ahead.
topic? It was interesting because I came across a tweet. Apparently, there are people. This woman specifically talked about how she had lupus, and because of like the abortion regulations, she no longer had access to a drug that I can't pronounce because it's also associated with getting abortions, but in low doses, it's helped her with her autoimmune disease. And I don't know. I was wondering what people thought about that because it seems
Yeah.
bizarre that we're not even making exceptions for
was
people.
That's
this,
what
like,
happens
linked
when you
to
have a
news
state.
article, or did
These
somebody
dumbass
just
fucking
post this on
laws
Twitter?
that go
Well, I looked it up and I looked up the drug and like, yeah, there's the people like pharmacists or doctors are getting a
Time
little
out,
nervous
time out.
about posting
Time
it.
out. Do I
Are
hear
they
a
getting,
bunch
they say
of-
they're
do
getting
I-
nervous about it, or was there an example that
No,
somebody
they
tried to
stopped.
fill a prescription?
They stopped filling her prescription. Now she has to go and find a
But-
different drug to
But
treat her
did
lupus.
she
Time out.
link? Did she link to an art? Is this like an
Wait a
actual
minute.
news article, or
Wait
did
a
somebody
minute.
just
Wait a
say
minute.
this on
Shut
Twitter?
up. Shut up. Shut up. What's the question, Keemstar?
Well, all I'm saying is, do I hear a bunch of lefties complaining that someone can't get the appropriate medicine? Weren't you guys trying to ban all kinds of medicine during COVID because you heard CNN say some dumb shit?
This one apparently does actually work, and there's objective
What's
empirical
No,
Appropriate
evidence.
Hold
medicine.
on. Don't say
This is
actually
prescribed by
works.
a doctor.
Well,
Don't say
difference
actually
is that
works. You
Gene,
all
were
you
you
all
aware-
went out of your way to ban Joe Rogan's medicine, calling it horse medicine and everything fucking
but-
else.
But and I agree, like calling it
There's
horse
no
medicine was probably a little bit silly. But have you looked at the empirical
Well,
evidence? Because
the
when
horse
ivermectin first,
medicine
hold
thing
on,
was,
hold on,
like,
hold on, hold on, hold on,
actually a
hold on,
lie.
hold on. Well, ivermectin is also used.
No,
with
it was just
horses for-
actually a lie.
No,
It was
Wait a
actually
minute,
work with
wait a
horses.
minute,
We
let's let her
absolutely
finish.
deworm horses with ivermectin.
Okay, and we
sometimes.
also prescribe it to
Flamenco,
people.
please just let me finish.
We also prescribe
It's a
it.
dewormer.
You're trying to shove me into a
She's
position that I
agreeing
don't
with
have.
what
Well,
you're
because-
saying.
Yes,
Because
I am
you're
agreeing.
repeating a
Wait,
lie that's been
Flamenco,
repeated
Flamenco,
multiple
you're not
times.
Flamenco.
Just like,
Hush.
oh my gosh,
Flamenco,
just like when I
please.
told you what the article said, and then you tried to have a gotcha by being like, "This is what the article said," and I was like, "Yeah,
Sorry,
I know,
I was
said
mistaking
that."
you for Papa Gut, who's just
Yeah,
been kind of making
just-
up shit for the last
Just
like 30
right,
minutes.
but Papa
It's true.
Gut, big
Making things
beard.
up.
Me, no beard, kind of weird hair tassels. Okay, that's the difference that's going on.
They do
So,
look similar.
we do. We're both based. Okay. What I'm saying is when it comes to something like ivermectin, it's really hard to compare to Plan B because ivermectin in 2020 studies were robustly done. There was a lot of empirical studies and RCTs that were done to see if ivermectin actually helped because ivermectin is a legitimate drug that is prescribed for certain things, specifically funguses. However, in the empirical trials, it was non-effective. And then people kept pushing it as being effective, which was barring people from accessing more helpful measures. So we can get into more of that if you really want to go into
Yeah.
COVID
So real
land.
quick, let me just debunk a little bit of that. So first of all, there's still 101 ongoing clinical trials of ivermectin as a prophylactic. A lot of these studies have pretty much conclusively shown that it is, as a treatment, it is essentially useless. But there are still a lot of questions about whether or not it is effective as a prophylactic. It's very, very cheap and easy to produce, and it has killed orders of magnitude less than Tylenol overdoses because we don't actually know that ivermectin has ever killed anyone ever. There's 2 cases that we can look to in question. And then there's a lot of issues that were shown in an African study where people already had a ton of issues. So we're not actually sure that ivermectin even has the ability to kill anyone if you are given correct and appropriate doses.
Yeah,
Now,
I
when
don't
you
really-
start banning medication and you limit people's medical freedom and you limit people's choices to medicate whatever they want to do or whatever their doctor prescribes, what does end up happening is that people do go and eat some fucking horse paste because they heard that something might potentially help them, and then your government stops you from being able to do so because it's not fucking Paxlovid and Pfizer's not going to make fucking billions of dollars off of it.
What he said, exactly what he said. Don't take the fucking options away. So look, we can't complain about this woman not being able to get the abortion medicine for a different thing if we're also going to like try to ban other medicines that people were trying during the experiment time of COVID. Because let's be real, when COVID came out, who were the experts? Let me tell you who the experts were. Fucking nobody. The government got it wrong. The fucking experts got it wrong. The media got it wrong. The world.
What did they
Health,
what did
whatever
they
the
get
fuck-
wrong?
What do you mean? What did they get wrong? They got everything fucking wrong.
He can hear me.
You definitely can't hear you,
I guess like I guess my main contention with this is like along with a lot of things, people are taking like things that they heard on social media as like actual fact. I actually want to see like any sort of like actual source other than this person said they weren't able to get a prescription filled and they like just said it on Twitter. Like it's
Okay,
the same
let's
thing
make
with
up a
like it's well
hypothetical
no
world about
no.
this.
If you're gonna get like all uppity when I get like to interject on something, you gotta let me fucking finish, okay? So first,
Yeah, erudite. Don't get uppity.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the first, so the first problem I would have is one, like with the Joe Rogan eating horse paste thing. That was just 100% not true. That was like a lie that was just perpetuated by media sources saying, "Oh, he took this." No, he took human medicine that was prescribed to him by a doctor because he's fucking famous and he can get a doctor to write a prescription for fucking whatever the fuck he wants. It was human doses of medicine. It's like, oh, Joe Rogan ate horse face. When you say that shit and when you run with that shit, even if you're like, oh, I get to just make fun of it because it's technically true when it's not really, you kind of make it so that people question whether or not you're actually telling the truth.
Dog,
So,
just to be clear,
though,
because
you-
apparently her defending herself wasn't enough. She literally said that was misinformation to call it horse paste because
Yeah.
ivermectin was
Well, she
human
said
dosage is what was
technically
used.
it was 100% a
Bro,
lie.
you
Well,
are
that's
you
what
are
I
just
go-
technically
Wait,
so
wait,
pro-life.
Hey, shut up. Okay. So I'm gonna give Not So Erudite a chance to respond. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, maybe flamenco, we can go to couples counseling and we'll do the weird thing that they
No,
make couples
I'm
do,
good.
where I make a statement and then you just summarize what you heard me say, because it's pretty obvious that no matter what I say, you're just going to create a weird straw man that never existed and then argue against that. And then I'll be like, cool, enjoy your one-sided conversation.
So
I'm not
nobody
part of
was
this.
spreading a lie that Joe Rogan ate horse paste.
I literally
Nobody
agreed
here
with you
said
on
that.
that. I said that that was inflammatory and incorrect to say.
Bro, she just called you out for making a straw man, and you literally responded making a straw man. What the fuck?
Nice.
Flamenco,
Yo, I
come
like
on,
real
bro.
talk. I hate simping for Not So Erudite. All right, Not So Erudite loves to patronize me and my libertarian views all the fucking time, and we butt heads. But like on
does
this
get-
one,
I'm a
dog,
libertarian,
here's this
Wait
L.
a minute.
Just take this
you-
L, bro.
I
What
really
kind of
think I took
philosophy
an
do you
L,
have
but
again,
okay.
Fabian?
Please,
Just to be
why
clear.
are you egging him on? Stop.
Just to be clear, I do want to know about
Antifa.
evictionism. I just don't want to talk about evictionism on a Roe v. Wade panel.
Yeah, no, evictionism is like a whole topic by itself.
I'm clearly Antifa. I'm anti-fascist. Clearly.
Literally
Okay.
never seen you at any of the meetings, but fine.
Okay.
What's the next topic? Because I feel like this is boring.
Yeah, can we talk about
this
grooming?
next one. Well, the next topic. Congratulations, guys. Next topic is grooming. Okay,
I
before
go
we
first?
get there, you can go
Please.
first. But first, you can go first, 100%. But first, before you go first, I'm going first. So, chat, remember, super chats are read between topics, and I'm going to read the only one super chat that I have here that says, as an ANCAP, oh, so you're wrong twice. That's a super chat. Secondly, topic number 2 is, here it is. Okay. The word groomer has been thrown around in online spaces quite a bit lately, often for 16-year-olds dating other 16-year-olds. What age gaps could constitute grooming? Hollywood normalizes very large age gaps. Are age gaps inherently problematic or ripe for abuse? That is question number 2. Keemstar, did you want to go?
Oh, I have 2 things to say. One in the chat and everyone's chat, because I know multiple people are streaming. One in the chat, if you watch a lot of these political debates, whether on YouTube, Twitch, or whatever, you see these characters all get in a group like we're doing right now. You're watching them, and then all of a sudden, grooming comes up as a debate, or pedophilia or something. What is going on here? Like, there are some very sus, like straight up pedos in these things. Every time I see one of these groups, they're debating pedophilia. Why? That is so fucking strange.
Because people want
Here's
to
the other
debate
thing
it.
I'd like to talk about. Here's the other thing I'd like to talk
It's
about. And this is the
capitalism,
real
dude.
reason. This is the real reason why I came on this show. I came on this show to confront Papa Gut, and that's the only reason why I came on today.
Why?
So I was just
Missing
waiting.
Papa Gut, by the way, it's something different. If you want to read that out for me.
I was waiting for the moment, and the moment is here. When we were on a little chat a couple months ago, I believe, you kept bringing up that it was weird that I, 40 years old, have a 21-year-old girlfriend. And you kept saying that this is weird, this is weird, this
I think
is weird.
the bigger thing was I said that it was weird that you canceled Call Me Carson for a 2-year age gap.
No, you're changing it. You're changing the subject. You said it was weird. You were judging me and
weird,
saying
sure.
that I'm weird. Now, just the other day, this guy on TikTok, a little irrelevant guy over on TikTok, was roasting your wife. He was calling her fat. He was calling her unattractive, all this stuff. You were getting salty about it, and you were defending your relationship, right? You were defending your wife and that you love her and you think she's beautiful and all that other stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Are you weird? Are you weird for dating your wife? Are you weird for dating your wife, being with your wife, being married to your wife? Are you weird? No, you're not weird because that's your relationship. That's your relationship, and you get to pick who you want a relationship with.
What are you talking about? Well, how do these two things? I just want to know how these two things are linked.
Because you didn't like when someone was judging you. You didn't like when someone was sitting there saying that your wife was unattractive, your wife was overweight. You didn't like that. And you're like, in my eyes, she's beautiful. All right. So in my eyes,
Keemstar, real quick. Keemstar, real quick.
To see
they're still talking.
Keemstar, you're a millionaire and you only have one 20-year-old girlfriend? Like, I find that
I have
weird.
I have two, but one's hidden.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, fair enough.
Okay, so I don't think that these two things are analogous, right? I said it was offhanded, said it was a little weird. I never said it was illegal or wrong. I think that's a little different from me engaging with somebody about like a particular topic, and then instead of them responding to what I said, they just decided to go off on my wife.
You got mad. He went after your wife.
Yeah,
He said, bro, your wife's ugly. Your wife's overweight, right? You said,
sure.
I love my wife. She's beautiful. I love her.
I don't see how these situations are comparable. I don't really understand. This just seems like you're waiting for something that in your head
you don't get it?
made sense so that you can have a meltdown on it. It sounds like you were holding up to that comment for months, and then like this, you felt like this was the first time that you.
I just thought you were being hypocritical because you should be able to date whoever you want to date, right?
Either way, when did I say you shouldn't be able to date 20-year-old girls?
You said it was weird. You said it was fucking weird.
Who cares if it's weird? I think that furries are weird too.
You got mad when that guy on TikTok said your wife is weird. Your wife had issues, or your wife had problems.
I think
you didn't approve of your wife, and you got real defensive.
I got upset
if
because
you want to
he
judge
just
other
said,
people's relationships, he should be able to judge your relationships. He should be able to get on TikTok and dunk on your wife and say that you're a weirdo for dating your wife, right? If you're going to do that to other people, that's my point.
He wasn't saying I was a weirdo. He was saying that I'm not a high value man because my wife is overweight. You're the only one reveling in this. You sound fucking unhinged right now.
I'm sitting here letting you talk.
I don't know what else to say, Keemstar. These two things are very.
You don't have a counterpoint.
But the thing is, it's just an insane point that you brought up. Right. So okay.
Don't judge people's relationships. When people judge your relationship, you're going to be a salty little bitch. That's my point. You don't get it.
The issue here, right, is first of all, there's a difference between saying that it's weird to date younger women versus me attacking your girlfriend or whatever. Right. That's the issue. So we had a disagreement on a different, we had a disagreement over some high value male bullshit. And instead of responding to the criticism, he just insulted my wife. That's not the same thing as me saying it's kind of weird that you date like younger girls. But especially considering like I've defended the fact that you're not a predator from like Ethan Klein, for instance, who thinks that you're like a pedophile for it, which you're not. I just said it was weird. It was offhanded. Why are you taking this so personally?
Well, I thought you were hypocritical when you got all defensive over your relationship.
Wrong.
I was wait. Well, people can call you weird for dating your wife, right? I mean, you do it to other people. You judge other people's relationships.
I don't even know how to respond to this.
Why can't people judge your relationships? Why are you getting so unhinged?
You can judge my relationship, but it's weird that like nobody insulted. Well, I didn't insult your girlfriend, but you're supporting people like insulting other people's wives. It's bizarre. I
don't support him. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm just saying it makes you a hypocrite.
You're supporting his action.
No, I'm saying that he should have the right. If you also believe that you have the right.
Are you saying that there is no age gap?
What's that?
Are you saying that there's no such thing as an age gap that constitutes grooming? Is that your position? Is that your opening statement?
Among adults, no.
It-
Among
okay,
adults,
well,
no.
then what age gap would you say?
What the fuck's happening?
I would say an adult.
I'm
with
just trying to
a-
get us back
amazing
on the
opening
conversation
statement.
that we're talking. This is his
Well,
opening statement. I'm trying to get us back on the conversation because this is like going on.
If an adult, if an adult
no
is
shit about
going
you guys.
after someone under the age of 18, I believe that is grooming, right?
So Keen,
Anybody under the
14
age
and
of
18,
18.
is that grooming?
I would say, yeah, I guess, yeah.
What about a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old that are in high school together?
No, I think
What
there
about a
is some.
17-year-old and a 19-year-old?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Okay,
That's
so if I can
different.
bring
Is
something
anybody
up
keeping
that's
track of
very
all
hot-
these?
if there's something,
Somebody writing this down.
I would like to bring up a specific thing. You guys know about Jesse Lee Peterson. Recently, allegations came out, people calling him a homo predator, if you will. Accusing a grown man of grooming other grown men into being in relationships with him sexually or otherwise. Do you think that there's anything there?
They're just
I
virtue
personally-
signaling for their church.
I personally don't
They're
think
just
so.
Did
I
he do it with
personally think-
adults or with
I
kids?
personally think
We still doing
if
opening
it's-
statements?
No.
we've been derailed. I'm so sorry. We'll get back to it. But I personally think with Jesse Lee Peterson, you can say that maybe he's gay, whatever, let the dude live his life. But like if it's grown adults, grown men talking to other grown men, I don't know how I feel about calling that grooming.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, the only way that you could really groom an adult, I would say, is if the state deems them non-consenting because they have an intellectual disability. Like that's pretty
There you
much.
go.
That's it.
Good
yeah.
point.
All right.
Good point. Very good
That's,
point. Yeah.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So who's next?
So
Is
let's
Doc
go
on the
do
radio
opening
next?
statements. Fabian, since you decided to bring it back, let's go straight to you.
All right, so here's what I think. I think anyone under the age of 18, as far as that is the culturally accepted in America age of consent, is unable to consent to sex with anyone, full stop. I don't care if it's a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. I don't care if it's a 16-year-old and another 16-year-old. They're unable to consent to sex. Now, does that mean we should punish another 16-year-old with like the strong arm of the law because of this? No, that's not what that means. But the fact of the matter is that
you
if
basically
you're
just said that-
underage, no, I'm going to finish.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to finish.
Ahead.
Go ahead. So I don't think that anyone that is a minor that is not fully developed is able to consciously consent to sex. I think once you are an adult and once you're a rational actor, once you're able to make decisions for yourself, I don't care about the age gap. Is it weird if there's a 20-year age gap? Yeah, it's kind of strange. But that doesn't make it wrong. That doesn't make it immoral. It just makes it an outlier. It makes it different. And I don't fucking know what is going on there. Now, in terms of what is and isn't grooming, I think in order for grooming to actually occur, what you need to do is you need to triangulate someone that is unable to, someone that is a minor or someone with an intellectual disability or something, and you need to pull them away from their parents. And you need to isolate them. You need to love bomb them. There are a lot of things that I think constitute grooming that go beyond just like something that is inappropriate or targeting someone that can't consent. That's not really a process of grooming, right? When a teacher separates you, tells you they have secret little things that you don't have to tell your parents about, and gives you special attention and tries to like force you over a period of time into their good graces and then assaults or abuses you. Yeah, that's grooming. When an 18-year-old fucks a 16-year-old, that's likely just a form of rape. Now, do we want to punish it the same way we do, violent rape in an alley or something? No, we don't. So that's my opinion. I think Keemstar, it's probably slightly weird. Do I care? No, I don't care, man. Do you? You're a fucking millionaire. You want to fuck a 21-year-old? Have fun.
I just find it very strange when you said no one below the age of 18 can consent to sex. I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, bro, when did this dude lose his virginity? Like, when exactly did you lose your virginity?
Around 16.
Okay, all right. Like, and I think
wait.
most...
Follow-up question. Do you feel like you were raped? I think he muted himself.
You're muted.
Oh, my bad. No, I don't think that I was able to understand the consequences of my action, but it was with someone else who was underage. I think we both did something that was probably irresponsible, but I don't know that this person raped me or that I raped this person.
Why was
I
it
just don't think we're
irresponsible?
Because I don't know the consequences of the actions as a 16-year-old. I don't understand what I'm really getting into.
I was taught sexual education in middle school.
No,
like
there's
towards the
a
end of
difference.
middle
Listen,
school.
there's a
Like,
difference
I
between
know the
no.
consequences.
No, no, you don't. Like
we
there's
do
a
need to get
difference.
to other opening statements, guys. I
I'm
love
being
the
attacked,
arguing.
so I'll defend myself really
Okay.
quick, and I'll be
Go ahead.
super quick. There is a difference between understanding what STDs are, understanding what pregnancy is, and understanding certain medical risks, and understanding what engaging with a sexual relationship means, and like what does that mean in terms of your psyche, and what does that mean about your maturity, and a lot of other things, right?
But you're like suggesting that being 18
you gotta
bestows
live
those
life. You
understandings
gotta
upon
experience shit, and you gotta learn from it. Like that's part of growing up, bro.
So, Doc, on the radio, your opening statement on this.
Yeah, sure. So, what constitutes grooming? I feel like if it's with if it's with a minor and it's above like 5 years plus, then yeah, I would consider that to be grooming. If it was like 17, 19 or 17, 18, I don't really consider that to be like an act of grooming. With regards to like adults dating like younger adults, honestly, I really don't care. It's whatever. It's not grooming. Yeah, that's my opening statement.
Okay, factitionalist. Or sorry, what was it? Kaz?
Yep,
That you
that's
wanted?
me.
Okay. Kaz.
So, grooming, I think, is separate from the sex act itself. Grooming is the I think it was Fabian who was describing this. I think I largely agree with most of what he said. It's the psychological shaping of the personality, the manipulation of the situation, and all that stuff. So I think that there isn't necessarily an age gap that constitutes grooming per se. I think that is just highly, almost entirely correlated with anything that is minor. 5 years, like was it Doc? Was it Doc on the radio? Like he said,
Yeah.
I think it's not a bad. I think it's technically arbitrary, but workable, and I think that's fine. But what's at stake here, what matters is informed consent, and I think that in that case, I think that a lot of the sex that's happening in the world today is not necessarily in that state of informed consent. I think that, like Fabian was saying, there's a lot of ramifications to sex that people don't really understand. They just because you tell somebody in a PowerPoint in a high school classroom one time, that doesn't mean that they really understand it. And and then even if they did get that class, doesn't mean they showed up that day. There's so many different factors. I'm just saying that there's a lot of sex going on that isn't necessarily with informed consent. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Flam.
I guess when it comes to age gaps, I generally don't care as long as both parties are consenting adults. I think it gets a little bit more into weird territory once you get like into the minor category, but generally a good rule of thumb is half your age plus 7. Generally tends to save people from some mistakes, but if some people are okay with it, I don't fucking care. A lot of this is sort of born out of this this hyper autism of power dynamics, where if you're young and a woman, you have less agency than if you're old and a man, I guess. Which I don't know. I find kind of nitpicky and dumb. If people are happy together, then they're happy together, and yeah. I guess the main focus on the word grooming is generally coming from a rather effective a rather effective nomenclature thing to label enemies of your political opposition as groomers, because technically it's kind of true if they're trying to like groom people into a certain type of ideology. There's like a very negative connotation, borderline on pedophilia because of that, but the people who are doing it were engaged in some very, very cynical and not very well thought through name calling things for the last 10 or so years, calling anybody who's right of Bernie Sanders a Nazi. So, man, that really does suck, doesn't it? Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Not so erudite.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of cringe when people use grooming as like their new favorite buzzword. I think grooming is a set of behaviors, and that often typically leads to sexual abuse, particularly of minors. If you look at the literature, grooming is exclusively focused on the type of behavior that essentially tries to normalize your closeness with the minor, to get all of the people in their life to be comfortable with you being close to that minor, and then to get the minor comfortable with you being increasingly close and eventually touching them, and getting that minor to be so convinced by kind of all of this that they don't tell because they believe that they can't or that something is good for them, right? It's kind of this active, to some extent, it's not the same as gaslighting, but it's this active psychological manipulation and abuse to like convince somebody that they're not harm. Um, I'm really tired of people using like really serious behaviors, because grooming is obviously really fucking bad, in situations where it's not appropriate. I think it's better to call it, as I think actually Fabian said, rape, statutory rape, if that's what's going on. I disagree on Fabian about like 16-year-olds can't consent to sex and stuff like that. Um, Other than that, I think 18 is unfortunately kind of the arbitrary line that we've drawn. It does get like weirder when the gaps are really large, but I don't think it's inherently like immoral, and it's definitely not illegal. Um, and there's good heuristics as to why like 20-year-olds in general probably aren't best suited for dating 52-year-olds. But at the end of the day, if both are consenting parties, and unless some like actual obvious abuse is going on, it's weird to talk about it like beyond that, in my view.
Can I butt in for 1 second? Sorry.
Keemstar's wife is currently grooming.
Well, I just want to butt in for 1 second. Just so you know, it's better to cut your nails after a shower because they're softer. So I just wanted to say that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Really appreciate
That's when my wife clips my toenails. Yeah.
Thank you. Portland is burning. Your statement.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So I agree with Not So Erudite that, like, I don't quite see the point in giving a different distinction to, like, 16-year-olds having sex with each other than you would, like, two 18-year-olds having sex with each other. I don't think there's anything, like, predatory or inappropriate there, and I don't think being 18 years old bestows any, like, sudden, spontaneous knowledge about sex health or reproductive health or anything that would make it any more informed consent than a 16 or a 17-year-old. I do think that there's maybe some validity to the accusations of the Jesse Lee Peterson thing. If he's, approaching and targeting young men that are like 19, 18, 20 years old, then I don't really have any issue with that being kind of characterized in a similar way.
Cool. Okay, well now we'll open it up. You guys can say whatever you want to each other. So go back to arguing.
Look,
Sure,
I want
Portland.
I want to say super quick, and sorry, I know Erdo, you want to speak.
No, you're
Like to this idea of like why I say a 16-year-old can consent and an 18-year-old can, right? I don't think there's any magical fucking barrier that gets crossed, right? The idea is that we as a society have picked a standard age, which is 18, where we believe that someone is ready for the responsibilities of adulthood. Now, does that mean that, like, I think that an age of consent of 18 will invariably punish some people that are 17 or 16 that are mature for that, and it will also invariably punish some people who are 19 and 20 that are not ready for that responsibility, right? We need to make it easier to emancipate, and we need to make it easier, I think, for parents to be able to go through a process of maintaining guardianship of 19 and 20-year-olds. The fact of the matter is that it is an arbitrary magical line here that we as a society have drawn, and some people like some people that are 17 are going to be as mature as other 20-year-olds, and some people that are 20, or even Keemstar, who's in his 40s and can't make his fucking bed, are still going to be as mature as like a 16, 17-year-old, right? Like there's going to be a line of gradation here. But the fact of the matter is once we pick that and we give that person the responsibilities of adulthood, there's a contradiction once we start denying agency to people that have reached that age, right? And I think once we do that, like our legal philosophy is shit once we do that, and that's really my issue there.
Well, it sounds
have
like
an age of consent that's different from the age of majority, and it's set on the state level, though. And I'm sure that someone who's obviously
I'm having my
like, in
girlfriend make
favor
my
of
bed in a
less
swimsuit.
government- I'm sure someone like yourself that's in favor of less government wouldn't want the federal government mandating the age of consent uniformly across all states, right? You'd probably want to leave that up to the states if the state's going to exist at all.
I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily better to have Tennessee randomly decide that like 14-year-olds can get married, right? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that that's necessarily better. It's just
precedents, though, and like that's the legal framework that exists right now. You're referring to the age of majority as if it's the age of consent right now, kind of in your
yeah. I mean, for the most part, it is. For the most part, it is though, right? Like, there's some states that delineate a small difference, right? And then there are Romeo and Juliet laws. I'm not trying to get
common.
Right. I don't want to get it. I don't want to get into like Romeo and Juliet laws and things like that, unless you guys want to, and that's fine. But what I'm saying, just to defend my argument, right, is that when I say that someone under the age of 18 can't consent and over the age of 18 can, as a general rule of thumb, we can go state by state, is that when an age of majority is chosen, we have to work within that confine, because that is when they're legally given the responsibilities of an adult, right? That is the age that we're arbitrarily determining, is when people are conscious and ready to make those decisions.
All right. So wait, hold on really quick. So are you saying that like you would categorize sex as an adult activity and that kids can't engage in sex? Like, I'm confused.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I would say that.
So like, is football like an adult activity that children shouldn't be able to engage in too? Like, where do we draw the, like, why is sex so magical where 16-year-olds can't get horny?
So it's not that I'm saying sex is magical. I would say that any and all activities are something that children don't have the capacity to consent in. I don't think they have the capacity to consent to anything. Right? Now, parents are
teenagers,
parents, let's say 17-year-olds. I don't think a 17-year-old can consent to a goddamn thing. I think that the parents are the default guardians of their will as an emergent adult. And by that, the parents or the guardians, for sake of simplicity or for sake of allowing their kids to grow and teaching them, can allow their children to do things that they're okay with.
What if they allow them to have sex? Is that okay? Not with them, of course.
I don't know that I don't know. Right. Like a 16-year-old and a 16-year-old, right. I don't know that I philosophically.
Wait, so you're old enough to drive a car? You're old enough to drive a car, right? You're 16 years old, and almost every state, 16 is you get your driver's license, right? But you can't fuck another 16-year-old. You can't fuck. You go to prom, all right? You go and spend the money on the suit. The girl's looking hot as hell, all right? You got to take the pictures.
How hot are prom girls?
You're hiding. You're hiding. I remember when I went to prom. I remember when I went to prom, and the girl that I took to prom was hot as fuck, right?
You have fond memories of those teenagers?
You're just being weird. You're being a creep right now when you're saying you're against all that. My whole point is like you're trying to say that like kids like going to prom, you don't consent to them like hooking up. Like what? Like that's part of like growing up. It's like everybody.
All I am saying, right, is that children, until they reach the age of adulthood, until they are released from the guardianship of their parents, until that occurs, that they are not able to consent to anything that isn't necessarily permission given from their parents. Right, and because the parents are the guardians of their will, that is my view.
Real quick to kind of get
emancipated. Then, like, what's the intellectual or like maturity justification for like an emancipated 16-year-old?
She actually is doing it.
She's actually making his bed. Yeah.
Oh my god!
You're gonna TOS the stream, Keemstar.
Just so if you're clear, if you're on Twitch, you should be disabling his video.
Why?
For those on. Because it'll violate Twitch TOS.
Yeah,
wait, because she's not in a hot tub?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
Well, hold on, pause.
God.
She's doing house cleaning. All right, the activity
right.
here is not sexual content.
Are not going to
the activity here is making the bed.
Clipping.
I mean, you guys can do whatever you want.
Line,
you are all adults. Do what you would like with your Twitch. I'm just giving you guys a warning.
Speaking of which, now that Not So Erudite has been able to speak, I know she wanted to say something earlier. So
I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore, honestly. Like, we're just like fighting over like whether teens can consent to having sex, I guess. I don't know. The reality is like the age of consent, like the line that we draw it at is fundamentally kind of arbitrary, right? Like how come we think 19-year-olds can like in Fabian's view, why can a 19-year-old consent and like not a 13-year-old? And why can an 18-year-old maybe consent to certain things that a 16-year-old can't? Like the reality of like all of these things that we draw lines at, like age of consent, for example, it's fundamentally somewhat arbitrary. We like use it as a society as like a pretty good heuristic of like, this seems like a pretty good time where they're like smart enough to like, you know, decide if they want to date an adult and they're independent enough more or less legally.
Yeah, we're debating
so
about
that's
grooming.
kind of what we worked with. But like age of consent is actually like this really
An age of
complicated
consent.
thing. And this isn't to say like we should just go buck wild, but you can make a very good argument for why maybe age of consent shouldn't be until like 25, and that any sex with anyone under the age of 25 is kind of like inappropriate.
I mean,
based
that
on,
would be
like,
the most
brain
subjective.
development.
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
the most objective, but you could also maybe argue like once puberty ends, their like brain isn't going all wild. So like now maybe 18's okay again. So like all of these lines that we're drawing are somewhat arbitrary. The issue is that like we have to talk about like the reality is like we do have to talk about like power dynamics. Like this is how the arbitrariness like becomes an issue, is that like the arbitrary 18 is a heuristic of like, they're developed enough that they can probably make decent decisions for themselves, and they're, as a society, we're saying you're fully culpable for the decisions that you make to some extent.
I want to ask about power
Legally,
dynamics.
they are.
Not so erudite. If somebody, like, if I have some kind of like deep desire to hook up with a very, very powerful woman, is that something that I don't have the agency to do?
Are you asking me because that's what you think I actually believe, or are you just trying to see what I actually view things as?
I really wanted to see.
Okay. It would really depend. Probably not. I mean, I definitely wouldn't call it grooming. I would say that it's fully legal. It might not be the most healthy relationship, though. It's probably not the best grounds for a healthy long-term relationship. But if you guys just want to fuck, go wild. You know, if you're both adults.
I can definitely see how like it can work out. Like the actual interactions that we would actually have could end up being unhealthy for me. I can see that totally.
What
But
if
I
it's
mean,
in, like, a
just the
therapy
decision to actually get into that situation. Do you think that it's inappropriate for me to have that agency?
For you as the employee to decide that you want to fuck your boss in doing so?
Right. Or
Yeah,
not
if
even
you're
a boss,
both
just anybody who's
adults,
very powerful.
And assuming you're both adults, yeah, you have that choice. Now, again, we can talk about whether it's healthy or not. I think somebody said something about therapy. I'd say that's a little bit different.
Can I jump in real quick?
that's
So
definitely different.
You probably
There's
should fuck
ethical
your
concerns.
therapist.
I just want to jump in on the power dynamic thing. So the existence of a power dynamic doesn't instantly make it abusive. It's really if somebody leverages that power dynamic against you, right? So if that older woman said, you have to fuck me, or I'll like ruin your life in some capacity with my power, then it would become like wrong. But outside of that, it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Sometimes you encounter people who are really on the other side of the spectrum when it comes to power dynamics.
Yeah, they think
And I
that
was
there's
just trying
any
to get an
power
idea of where you
dynamic.
were.
I'm
It's
really
essentially
really
rape to
stressed
them,
off
yeah.
when people are like any power dynamic and it's abuse, and it's like that's insane, right? That would mean that like I'm married to my husband, but at one point I was technically his boss for like 2 months, and we're in like this weird power dynamic where I'm now abusing my husband constantly. Like,
Well, also
probably not.
we could take it even farther and just say that he's a man and he's physically stronger than you, and so it's
That
rape
power
unless you're
dynamic
with a
makes
woman.
Yeah, well,
Right. I know.
but nobody agrees with that, so we won't go there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you're gonna bring up power dynamics, I don't think power dynamics show anything at all. Like I mean, someone could be insanely powerful and have a lot of control over you in your life, and I don't care. Like, did you make that decision freely, or were you coerced into making that decision? And the existence of the power difference is not coercion; it's not an act of aggression. Right, and so I think I would agree with factionalists here. They utilize that power
coercion without speaking. You can use coercion without speaking. You can just use your presence to coerce somebody.
Or you can create a coercive environment by providing someone.
Then you're getting into
Portland, you just
mind reading
keep talking over
territory.
because we can barely hear you, buddy.
No, that's absurd to say that because someone has power, right, or because someone creates a situation in which you fully voluntarily chose to be in, right, that you are coerced. And because
we've all
of the
seen
power
a
in the
gangster movie,
situation,
right? Like we all know how to talk without talking. I mean, it's not that hard to.
If you're making veiled threats,
don't
then
need-
obviously yes. But that's not the existence of the power. That's the act of coercion of flexing your power with veiled threats.
But if it's veiled enough, then that's all you have to go back
That's a
on.
contract that's under duress, right? Like you're under duress. You feel like you're being coerced. That's not a consensual contract.
if you ever feel like that, you should probably also just like bring it up to the person that's making you feel uncomfortable, and then if they press the issue, then there's like something that's wrong there. If not, then okay, then you misread signals.
This idea of like power dynamics is how we end up in this situation where like people are attacking Aziz Ansari for having bad dates.
Yeah.
I think it's a useful lens when you're using it in the only useful limit that it should be used, which is like understanding that power dynamics can create fertile grounds for certain types of like abuse and coercion to happen, but not that they inherently do that, right? I think that's the only useful part of looking at a power dynamic.
Generally, that would be great, but like that's not the lens that people use. They use it to basically schizo post, essentially.
I totally agree with that. It's just that's not the argument that I'm going to be making.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to make the argument, if you want to make the argument that people that have more power than other people are more able to utilize that power towards their advantage and are more easily able to coerce people, then like, yeah, but like, I don't understand how you're using that lens in terms of this conversation. Like, why is that lens important at that point, as opposed to just the act of coercion?
Because I think the lens, like the question was originally grooming, right? And so like if there's a power dynamic existence, so part of what is inherent to grooming is the fact that there's this power dynamic. Sorry, this is a real loud truck. There's this power dynamic between like the adult and the child, because almost exclusively when we're talking about grooming, we're typically talking about children to adults, right? And so the power dynamic is inherent because the adult is able to use essentially their their more developed brain, the fact that they're an adult and people are going to trust them more, their relationships with others and whatnot, to essentially coerce and like manipulate and psychologically like control the child to have a certain view of the world, a view of their relationship that they feel like they can't even break out. So like that's why I think when we're talking about grooming, that's where power dynamics come into play, is because the power dynamic is inherently part of the grounds that allows grooming to occur.
I mean,
but then
I would
people
agree
take power
with that,
dynamics and then just abuse it and try to say that like everything's a power dynamic and so everything's unethical, which is
I think just like grooming, the term power dynamics kind of invokes a certain worldview or philosophy that isn't what you're describing. It's an unfortunate like kind of capture by ideologues of certain words, right? Groomer is something that has been captured by the right at this point. Just like, when someone hears fascist, right? Like nobody knows what the fuck a fascist is anymore because everything's a fucking fascist. And I would say that power dynamics kind of has that same similar aspect there where, I mean, obviously power dynamics is Marxist or it's critical theory, but even still, like it means so much more and it invokes so much more that like, I don't think that your argument is unfair in any way.
Well, and
I think that it's
context,
useful
I
in
think
just
it's really important to understand too that like the initial thing we were talking about was Jesse Lee Peterson and that was kind of the initial topic that brought it up.
I brought him up as an example, but
right, no, and I'm just kind of referring back to how that could be perceived as like a situation where one legal adult could groom another, so to speak, because if I'm not mistaken, Jesse Lee Peterson's accused of being predatory with young men who are seeking like his therapeutic advice. He is a Christian counselor, I believe, and the accusations pertain to him being in that position and using that to prey on men who are confused about their sexuality and coming to him for help. And those could be, 18, 19, 20-year-old men. And I still think that would be a valid, situation where you could describe it as grooming because of the perceived power differential and like the way that those dynamics affect their interpersonal relationship. It's not just a 50-year-old man and a 20-year-old young man. It's like a therapeutic relationship that makes it kind of,
I think Not So Erudite will agree with me on this. I hope so, at least. I think there's kind of two other elements in the therapeutic relationship that make it so much more significant. One is that you're kind of like by nature of the therapy, you're already like triangulating, like not intentionally, but like you're already in a situation where you're telling me secrets that you're not telling other people. Right. So you're kind of already isolated in what you're sharing with the therapist. And then the other thing is that there's more than just the power. There's a deep element of trust. And there's also the skills and the familiarity at which the therapist is able to engage in that relationship in kind of controlling you. So I think that's a particularly egregious environment if there is like ethics violations there or that makes it far easier than almost any other situation that I can think of.
I'm not
But do
even,
you
to
think
be
it's-
honest, I was just going to say, I'm not even wholly opposed to the idea that it is possible to also groom an adult. The literature is just not there. So when I'm talking about grooming, I'm focusing mostly on the literature. I think what you're talking about, right, when you've got this therapeutic relationship, right, like they're checking off a lot of the grooming boxes, right? They've got access to the individual, they've got the inherent power dynamic, they have the some level of selection of victim. Because I imagine that this person didn't abuse every single one of their clients. There was probably some level of like, whether it was intentional or unintentional vetting that was going on about like who you're selecting as like which, if he's, and I'm not sure the situation, was he sleeping with his clients? I'm not totally sure.
They're accusations. They're not like
I don't fucking know.
substantiated. They're
Okay.
just accusations.
Let's say in the hypothetical world that at this point, there is a therapist that is sleeping with clients. Like it is possible actually that therapists could be engaging in grooming with adults. Like I think that is possible. The issue is that typically when we talk about adults grooming other adults, it feels like we jump basically to like, well, there's a power dynamic, so it was grooming. And it's like, it doesn't mean that it necessarily was. In the case of this counseling situation, though, it's very likely that there could be grooming going on because it's the exact environment that you need.
I don't know
for
if I
this
would
behavior to
use.
start.
Sorry if I interrupted, but I don't know if I would use the word like grooming for. I don't know, because like if it's like Jesse Lee Peterson, who's like, I don't know, in his 40s, he's an older man, and he's quote unquote like grooming 18, 19-year-old like adults. I wouldn't really use the word grooming in that case. I don't.
Just because they're over 18, right?
Yeah,
Like,
because they're adults. I think that, I mean, if they're adults and they can make
right,
their own.
but like if the age of majority was suddenly changed to 21 by federal mandate tomorrow, you'd suddenly have a different opinion on it? Or
I mean, sure. I mean, we drew the line at 18, so if they moved it, then yeah. I mean, I guess I would have to, in terms of like, yeah, in that argument, yeah.
Well,
See, that's
does it have to be?
weird
Why does it have
thing,
to be
right?
grooming for it to be inappropriate though? Like
Yeah.
I think that's one of those.
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
grooming,
I've never
but
argued that, yeah.
Grooming doesn't like. I'm not saying that it necessarily has to be, but I'm saying that like on its face, the term grooming and the characterization of it that we've all kind of agreed upon here doesn't seem to rely on any inherent like, are they or are they not 18, and is 18 the majority, like the age of majority or not? There seems to be an arbitrary line being drawn here where like at 19 or 18 suddenly it's no longer grooming, even if it's the exact same set of behaviors under the exact same like set of relationship dynamics, and that doesn't really make sense.
Can I ask a question real quick? Has anyone actually seen this? And here's my, and I'll explain.
I
Like
saw it.
maybe it's because I'm in an echo chamber and like the spaces that I go where I have a lot of like libertarian and anarchist things that I follow, and a lot of like right wing stuff and not a ton of left wing stuff. But like I don't think I've seen anybody ever use the term grooming as a means of talking about like 16-year-olds engaged with relationships with other 16-year-olds. It's been almost exclusively, from what I've seen, right-wing people attacking teachers, attacking the LGBT, kind of movement, attacking like gender ideology and things like that, and accusing them of adults grooming children into a political ideology or into sexual relationships. So like, I wonder if this question even makes
more popular
sense.
one.
Yes,
Right now.
on the left, you're missing some stuff. So there's been a lot of like, Twitter stuff that's been going on of like 16-year-olds accusing like 18-year-olds and stuff like that of engaging in grooming when they're dating somebody who's like within 2 years of their age. So we actually are seeing both. Yeah.
Okay, I was just like a genuine question because I've yet to see any example of that, and so I'm like, what the fuck is this question?
It's mostly on
It seems
Twitter.
like it's watering down. Seems to be watering down the way that the right wing is trying to use it to attack gender ideology for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, that is also part of what is being used with grooming, but then there's the flip side on.
Yeah, fair enough.
This Jesse Lee Peterson thing, the guys that are accusing him, they're not like young men or anything, though. But I do agree.
Yeah.
I think
they're all in their like 30s or 40s.
The pastoral role that he had could convey some kind of therapeutic type ethics on him. And I see your point there.
Actually, like he's a Christian he's like a young men's Christian counselor too. You can use his services you can obtain his services with your insurance in the state of California. Like he's a licensed counselor. Yeah, he's a licensed counselor. He doesn't have to have like a degree apparently in the state of California, according to one of his radio shows. You can just kind of get a certification for counseling or something.
Oh,
like
he's not
as
a
part of a
psychologist.
religious.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's like a pastoral counselor.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
because of the particular way that it's classified in the state of California, he can be utilized as like an actual like therapist for insurance purposes. So like he's being kind of very like gray area in terms of his like therapeutic relationship with his clients, but he definitely positions himself as like a young men's counselor. So and there's a lot of that relationship that seems like it has an inherent kind of predatory opportunity to it. So I don't see the like, unless I'm completely wrong about just like the literal definition and it 100% has to be a minor to constitute grooming, which like fine, then that's just semantical. I'm just pointing out that like in terms of the dynamics of the relationships, it seems like it's pretty much all the things that we all agreed grooming characterized by. So
Yeah, I think it's fully fair
predatory
to
is
call
probably the
something.
better word for it anyway.
Well, if grooming is actually occurring, I think it's fine to call it grooming. Like I think grooming can happen to adults. We just have to make sure it's grooming that's going on and it's not some other form of abuse, right? Just like you can gaslight a child into thinking that they have a mental illness, just like you can gaslight an adult, right? So like this idea that like it must only occur with minors doesn't make sense again because of the arbitrariness of 18. The reality is like I think people can be groomed at any time. The issue is that children are much higher risk for being groomed because you can convince them of a lot of batshit crazy things that sometimes a lot of groomers need to convince kids of to maintain the sexual abuse typically. That's why it more often happens with kids and there's not a lot of literature on adults. But honestly, I think the literature probably should extend into adults and like look at like what are grooming patterns? Are they being replicated in adult relationships or is it just predatory? Like, is it just unhealthy? Is it abuse? What is it?
Well, then on that note, though, because like a lot of the argument, as Fabian said, a lot of the grooming talk right now in terms of right-wing spheres is generally garnered towards, I guess, trying to mold kids into certain political ideologies at a young age by public school teachers via like a variety of different things. Should that be disallowed? Should that be frowned upon to try to essentially mold kids into political ideologies that teachers themselves have?
Oh, so you're asking, should we be allowing teachers to be teaching these curriculums, not should we be calling those teachers groomers?
Sure, that too.
Okay.
I just want to say that as a product of the American public school system, the only public school teacher who ever like overtly injected an agenda that was probably like inappropriate into the classroom was my heavily religious Christian teacher in like small town in Arkansas who made us pray every day and like to start class. So like I don't know where this idea that like LGBTQ teachers are like indoctrinating children into their ideologies as a part of their school curriculums.
I mean, like that's not a debatable thing anymore. Like you can debate the
But we're-
rate at which it occurs, but you can't. You can no longer debate that there isn't intentional attempts to try and take children into these ideologies, right? Like that's an absurd point to make.
Make them accepting of these ideologies, or bring them into these ideologies. Those two
again,
terms
no, both. Right. I don't think that you can make the argument that there aren't some examples. You can make the argument that it's not widespread. Right.
Okay.
You can make the argument that like, hey, we tend, libs of TikTok and accounts like that tend to take the most worst examples in a country of 330 million people and then like bring that to the forefront. And you're seeing like 1%, if even that, being represented in like a hyperbolic way. And like these teachers are a problem, but the idea that the education system is completely infiltrated is silly. I don't know that I would make that argument because I'm really against this shit, but that is a fair argument. But to make the argument that it doesn't exist, or like I don't know where people are getting this idea from, is like is ludicrous, because we've seen tons of evidence of it.
My point is to say that it's an incredibly small minority of people whose actions are often being misrepresented or taken in like the worst possible way, when in reality like they're being clipped out of context or misrepresented by a social media account like libs of TikTok. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that's a fair argument. I don't know that it's I believe that it's systemic. I believe that we're having issues with that when we start to see, states take on policies, when we start to see, transformative social emotional learning be something that we are having teaching seminars on and things like that. I think we're very closely getting over that edge where a majority of children in schools will in some way, shape, or form be intentionally indoctrinated into neo-Marxist philosophy as a means of creating a new vanguard party.
By that, though, you just mean like being generally acquainted with the concepts of like equality and
no. I mean like transformative
or.
No, of course not. Like, I mean, like taking children, right? And then using the CASEL model, which was developed for kids with conduct disorder and oppositional defiant disorder, not for general use in the classroom. And then having teachers, intentionally try and put children into the fear zone and then use their other classmates to shame them, and with the intentional desire to destroy the ideas of individualism and capitalism and heteronormativity, and to intentionally instill young children in the classroom into believing collectivist ideology and believing, neo-Marxian philosophy, and warm them up to create an entire political activist vanguard party of children that will be deeply damaging to the United States and to the psychology of children.
Where are we seeing any of that? Like, I get that board.
Pennsylvania, New York, California, South Carolina.
You literally have seminars on this.
I have no idea what's going on.
You're saying because there's more people identifying as like non-binary in these more progressive states, that means that teachers are trying to groom kids into destroying
I'm
America.
specifically talking about transformative social emotional learning, it being taught to teachers, watching the seminars, and then reading the literature on TSCL.
I just wanted to how does that manifest itself? Like, you were referring to a specific teaching style. Like, what is this?
Grooming from this? Can we just first of all say that schools aren't grooming kids almost ever unless they're actively trying to train children to be sexually abused by power dynamic people?
We also accept that
stop using the grooming
everybody to the right of Bernie Sanders is the vanguard of the Fourth Reich. I mean, I don't know. Like the left side of the argument getting really upset. The left side of the argument getting really mad about hyperbolic language is I don't know. It's a little. It's giving me a little bit of a Schadenfreude moment.
A little annoyed.
So typically, I almost never tone police. I don't even care if you're using big, mean, nasty words or you're hurting people's fifis. Grooming is just really inaccurate. Indoctrination. If you want to be hyperbolic, indoctrination is your word to use.
Most
grooming
people
is stupid to use.
If we're going to roast people groomers for indoctrinating, then everybody's a groomer.
No. Let me correct
people
this.
that make edgy jokes on Twitter also aren't members of the Fourth Reich, though. We can accept that too, right?
Wait a minute. The topic here was about whether the word groomer is being thrown around too much, and I think we've established that it is. So I think Not So Erudite makes a pretty good point here in that maybe
I think it's false, and I'm gonna say why. Right, the idea that we cannot have colloquialisms and terms that are not used, that don't get to maintain the definition and the halls of academia, is kind of silly. And I find it funny that we now only make this argument.
Is just a bad one.
Right. Well, I don't think so, because I think the idea is that the only change to the word groomer that is being taken in terms of the way the right wing is using it to attack gender ideology in schools is that instead of just sex, it has become about political ideologies. But the process that they're describing is the same process. The process of separating children, of normalizing a personal relationship, of bringing them into the ideology, of having them change their names without their children's...
You've already used the word indoctrination.
You literally just described Sunday school to a T.
Sure, indoctrination is also an apt word for it. It just doesn't hit as hard.
Grooming is not the accurate word for it.
You could say
Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. We just got fucking done talking about why using the word groomer for anything and everything under the sun is fucking lame. Maybe we should take a page out of our own fucking books and maybe not use the word groomer. I think indoctrination is a fine word.
No, I will use the
Alright.
word groomer, and
I
I will
just-
say
Okay,
that
then
it is
every
an
time I
appropriate
see
use.
anybody take
then
anybody
you're a
to Sunday
fucking
school, I'm gonna
hypocrite. That's
call
all
them
I'm
a groomer.
saying. You're a fucking
Where am I
hypocrite.
hypocrite? Where am I
Sure.
hypocrite? Point out
I
the
mean,
hypocrisy.
Using
If
the
you
Do it
want
now.
to.
wrong.
Grooming is almost exclusively about sexual abuse. If you're like
No,
forcing somebody,
it's not.
yes.
In
the
online
left-
discussion,
no,
in
no,
online
you,
discussion,
like,
well, hold on.
This is so
We're
absurd.
talking about the
In
problem
online
with
discussions, as a
about it.
pejorative, yes, it is almost exclusively used as a sexual term. In terms of like
no,
It's an
why are
modern
you
actual
usage,
term.
no.
In the
Like
academic
you could
literature,
easily,
grooming is about sexual abuse.
Okay, I don't care about academic literature.
That's
I'm
where the
saying
word
that
talking
comes
about
from.
Like, have you ever had to like convince one of them to
freaking
eat their
statement.
peas?
Hold on,
Do you have to,
pause,
like, take them
pause, real
across?
quick.
Can I finish
Real
the
quick.
statement, please? Thank you.
more.
Yes.
Latest
So,
doc and
grooming
chat.
has also been used by and large for anybody who's preparing a person for another position. Generally, a child. If you're a person who is the heir of a fortune, generally your parents will try to groom you so that you're acceptable in society, so that you act a certain way, you talk a certain way. You could argue that, like, you know, the Jeb and George Bush were groomed for political office from their parents. Like, it's
Everybody's a
this is not a word that's
term
like
has been used,
random. This is not a term that just randomly popped up to call people pedophiles without calling them pedophiles.
Also, here's my question, Natsurda. If we were having a panel and it had nothing to do with gender ideology or left-wing politics, and instead we were having a panel specifically describing the way cults target children and bring them into cult ideologies, a cult that is not sexual in nature, but is extremely dangerous and might even cause people to kill themselves and do all kinds of stuff. Would you be interrupting, being like, no, you can't use the term grooming because like that's not the appropriate word? Do you honestly believe that you would do that? Or do you think maybe it's because that this word is being used as a weapon to attack a political philosophy that is representative on the left, and you don't like that, the inaccuracy of that, just like the right has not liked the inaccuracy of dozens of fucking terms that have been used and reappropriated to attack anyone like right of fucking counterpoints.
So I would still say if you're talking about cults and sexual abuse isn't happening at all, grooming would be the wrong word. It would still be indoctrination and probably radicalization as well. Those
I mean,
words
fair
are
enough,
fine.
but it seems a bit like an actually moment instead of actually talking
That's
about
fair,
the problem.
but the whole point
What's
of the
wrong with actually
conversation
moments?
was about like concept creep of the word grooming. Is it being used? Like that seems to be the point of it. And so it's just weird in the panel to be like, well, why can't we concept creep here? And it's like, or like, why are you getting mad that we're concept creeping this word? And it's like, wait, what? Didn't we all just agree that people overuse the word grooming? Why don't you use the word indoctrination? Especially when you're talking
people
about like,
overuse the
important
word.
things.
People
Because
overuse plenty
they're
of words, but
But
like
the problem is
Okay,
that
well,
there's
then
no
I
word
guess
for
maybe
it.
we should just call everyone groomers.
Go make one up.
Words like fascist and Nazi and
I
commie.
fucking
and stuff
hate
like
that.
You
Yeah, I
usually
hate it when people
you usually
overuse
have
the word
issues on the
Nazi.
right when that's overused. So I don't understand why you're
but
like
the problem is
defending
there's
the
no word
degradation
here.
of these words because
So
you
make
get to
one up.
smuggle in a bunch of sexual baggage with the word
There is
groomer
there are
and
other
use that
words
to
to be
imply
The
used.
English
a bunch of
language
other
is
stuff.
fluid. You can make up new words.
I'm
You can
fully
coin
aware
a
that you
new
can make
term.
up new words. I get that. But what I'm saying is that the right has used this word because it is so eerily close to grooming, right? It is the exact same. What is occurring in schools is the
indoctrination.
exact. But it's not just indoctrination. It's the
What is it then?
triangulation, the abuse that exactly. That's why they
There's
call
no
it grooming.
triangulation.
So
Why
It's
is it? So
curriculum
why
li-
is it
if
a
it's
problem?
curriculum
If it's
based and it's going
eerily
out to the
similar,
masses, it's
what's
not
the problem with the left referring to the alt-right as fascist? Like,
I'm sorry,
why is
what?
that a
I'm
problem?
sorry. Can you?
If
You're
it's eerily similar, if it's eerily similar, grooming and the behaviors you're outlining in this
Mhm.
case, why are we opposed to the left calling alt-right individuals fascistic? Why are we against
I'm
them
not
calling
opposed to
them
that.
Nazis?
I think the alt-right are fairly close to fascistic ideology. Now, to call them fascist, I don't know that the alt-right. It's
Sure,
like, are
Nazis.
they? Do they have blood and
Actually,
soil?
moment.
You know what I
Actually
mean? Like,
moment.
it's not an actually moment. She asked, like, why is
Okay.
that inappropriate?
I just think
I've
that,
called them fascistic before. Like, they are in many ways.
I just think that once the hyperbolic name calling genie's out of the bottle, it doesn't go back in. So get ready
Why do you
for
wanna make the
a lot
problem
of
worse?
nastiness. Listen,
Why do you wanna make the problem worse, man?
I think abusing kids is worse than the fucking degradation of the language.
Me engaging in
Yeah,
it doesn't
but
really
justifying
like.
devaluing the
Stop
we're
it or start it.
devaluing the
Because
word,
somebody
aren't
else
we?
already
Like
did it.
that feels like a pretty big thing to be devaluing.
No, it's more important, right? If you're
Who started
using the
it, though?
wrong word that has a clear
my God, did you just say
meaning,
who
who cares if who started it?
Wait, no, who
Okay.
unironically started it?
Okay,
I
let's
guess that was
talk
me because I
about
mentioned
why the
grooming in the
degradation
panel.
of words matters.
Who started the hyperbolic?
I started it.
Who started the hyperbolic name
I
calling?
started grooming
I mean,
you.
I'm not agreeing with people using the word
started it.
Nazi for everything. I'm not agreeing with people using the word fascist for everything.
Yeah, I know.
right?
Yeah, but this isn't like we're not on the playground. We're not being like, yeah, but you kicked me first. Okay, we're talking about why does the degradation of the language actually matter? Because words have some level of descriptive power. So if you're talking about say everything Fabian is outlining is actually happening, there is a group that is actively indoctrinating children into like far left, communist, Marxist, neo, I forget all the words you used, worldviews around the world that are like destroying heteronormativity and destroying our culture at large. And then you kept calling it grooming. The issue is that both the description is wrong, and from that, your prescription of how you react and how you correct that is also incorrect, because the way that you counter grooming isn't inherently the way that you counter indoctrination.
That's silly because like people
actually,
recognize that you're talking about
I don't
I think
actually think that's true. I think like
the
in
biggest
this
issue
case,
is that we
it would be
haven't
the same
actually
thing. We would
we
disallow
haven't actually been
certain.
able to talk about what Fabian believes. We've been just talking about if it isn't or isn't grooming,
What
but we
he
don't even really.
believes, he brings it up every time he says something.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but like pressing him on like what he was talking about, because we kind of got to this thing where he's talking about how there's this like entire conspiracy theory where kids are, I don't know, instead of them just becoming gay, they're just
They're
I don't know,
becoming
getting
Marxist
groomed.
super agents.
I want, I'm more interested in that conversation, like whether it is. I know that the topic is about grooming, but like
We
maybe
can talk about it.
if what he's saying is true, maybe you could use the word grooming. I don't know if it'd be hyperbolic or not, but like I'm more interested. It's like what the fuck are you talking about? Because we started with like being gay is more accepted in schools, and we somehow got to neo-Marxism. So I want to know how we got there.
Oh, I mean, how do you describe the entire process of how gender ideology came to be? Is that what you're asking me? Like how
I want to know how, because I've never really heard of a situation where like schools are indoctrinating children to be neo-Marxist. Like I know teachers tend to be more left-leaning, but that doesn't mean that there is this widespread conspiracy to turn kids into communists.
I don't think it has to be a widespread
Right.
conspiracy. There just has to be a certain threshold where people acknowledge, hey, it's really
This is a
weird
problem,
that these teachers feel very emboldened to openly try to indoctrinate kids into certain political ideologies that are just extremely weird. That's a little weird, and
So
it just has to pass a certain threshold that.
Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah, we
into which
regulate
ideologies?
based
Just
off
like-
outliers all the time. Like if there's a power plant that's dumping an excess amount of pollutants into the river, well, that's an outlier, but we still fucking address it. Like
Sure, but it sounds like what's being said is just like the openness and acceptedness of like gay people and the expression of that.
It doesn't sound that
plenty
way.
of
That's not what I'm
examples.
talking
There's
about.
plenty of
Okay, so
examples
what's
where
an example of like what's an inappropriate action? Like, is it okay for a teacher to tell their students that they're gay?
That
is
I
it?
don't care.
Wait, is it appropriate for the teacher themselves to go and tell this person, hey, you are this like
Wait, is this like the
qualifier,
student
this,
coming up to the teacher and saying
Tell
they're
them
gay?
that they're gay? No, it's not appropriate.
I think she.
Just
I
wanna
think
know
he's-
where
what
it
he's
starts and
asking
ends.
is the teacher. It's themselves to be like, a female teacher to be like, I have a wife. I'm gay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
I just want to know, where does it start and end? Is it
Like,
okay for
that's
teachers?
just the reality, right? Like that's just the
Yeah.
world that we live in.
Is it okay for
That's
teachers
accurately
to
representing reality?
Sure. Is it okay for a
we-
teacher to say that like non-binary people or trans people exist? Like what's the threshold that we're crossing, and how does it get to neo-Marxism?
I would say at this point where teachers identify certain feminine behaviors and maybe male students and try to maybe say to that kid that they're actually trans. I've seen quite a few, like unironically, like in terms of like the online trans community, I find nothing more fucking creepy than the people going on about eggs. That's like insanely fucking weird to me, from what I've seen anyway. It's like a group collective attempt to like gaslight a person.
Is that a big thing in the online left trans community? Them talking about eggs?
I've seen.
Wait,
yeah. Egg is a euphemism for a person who's trans that hasn't come out as trans.
Oh, okay.
Or who doesn't realize it yet. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So where is the indoctrination happening? Can you just like walk me through this step by step?
Okay, so which level of indoctrination are you asking for? Like, you want me to explain transformative social emotional learning? Do you want me to explain individual incidents? Do you want like specific policies that have been adopted? Is that what you're looking for? Like something systemic?
Social and emotional learning, I vote for.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
So transformative
Yeah, I wanna
social
go, like,
emotional
bottom up.
learning. right? So transformative social emotional learning is kind of the new wave of indoctrination, right? So are you aware of CASEL? Are you aware of just social emotional learning in general? Right. Okay. So the transformative social emotional learning is using that same process and bringing it into the classroom, but it is specifically targeting political ideology as a means of using CASEL. So they
Can you
need to
just go through
identify
a quick background of it, because I don't think the audience might be aware of it, like not so erudite.
Right. So social emotional learning was originally developed for like problem children, right? Conduct disorder, ODD, guidance counselors. What they did is they took psychotherapy like techniques and mix them with their education to try and like get them to socialize better, be more expressive about their feelings, have less anger issues, things like that. Then CASEL decided that teachers should be doing this, which is already kind of like an ethical gray area, because do they really have the expertise to be, engaging in some like low level form of psychotherapy? I don't know what the right answer is. It depends on what it looks like, right? Then what we have now in academia is this idea of transformative social emotional learning, which is using that same framework, which is a means of engaging in psychotherapy with children, like en masse, like taking children, getting them to express their feelings in front of the class, getting everyone to like put them technically in their fear zone. And then after their fears and their biases have been broken apart, we can then engage in teaching them in the learning zone, things like that. TSEL is a process that says, well, we've got to attack individualism. We have to teach children collectivism. We have to make sure that they're aware of their LGBT identities if they have them. We have to say like, oh, you're a black student, explain your blackness, or we have to. It's basically Maoist struggle sessions 2.0. And then what? And so, is TSEL adopted in any school framework currently? No. What it is a lot of teachers are going to teaching seminars about this in order to learn this process. And you can watch the teaching seminars and watch how they say, yes, I do this in my classroom. It's so great. Like I talk to this person and talk about how they're Latinx, and I make the entire class recognize their Latinx identity. And this is happening in like fucking math classes. So that is an example of a pervasive thing where they are taking, and they say like, I can actually give you leaked documents of seminars that children are having in private Catholic church schools, where they're teaching them that Jesus is actually non-binary, and that like to not be supportive, you have to do this. What's that?
Maybe he is.
Maybe.
I mean,
right?
he refers to himself as the son, so probably not.
I think he's
Yeah,
binary.
but it's all conversation about like the
When
split
you're
between
saying-
gender identity, expression, pronouns, and sex. So it's still possible that they're non-binary, but they use male, like he, him pronouns.
Right. So when we're saying
God.
TSCL, the only TSCL I'm familiar with, and this could just be because I come from a bit of a separate field, is the tabletop supported collaborative learning. Is that what you're talking about? Like
No,
with the small groups?
I'll,
What does
I'll-
TSCL stand
I'll
for?
give you the study. I think it's got like around 214 citations.
So
That was the last time I checked.
there are empirical studies of the efficacy, or
Well,
something like
of the process of TSC.
I just wanted to-
wasn't-
yeah, I
you
don't
said
know
it
what
wasn't
TS
implemented in schools, though, right? You even said that in your speech.
He
So
said that
I mean,
they're
I mean,
trained
But you
like,
said that
social
teachers
emotional
were
I can
going
also-
to seminars for it.
I-
So again, we're not talking about a conspiracy. We're talking about enough of a percentage of individuals
right,
enacting this sort of thing.
Right, you guys
But I
keep
don't
using
care
the
if
term
people are doing it or
conspiracy,
not doing
and
it. I
like
don't care if
I'm
you don't
not
like it or
talking
do
about
like it.
conspiracy. I'm talking about
I
an
just care if
approaching
it works or
ideology
not.
that's dangerous.
Does it work? Is it good or not?
So what's the ideology that's dangerous specifically? Because it sounds like you're not opposed to teachers talking. Are we opposed to like gender education where they come in and they talk about like how there are different orientations? Or are we exclusively concerned about teachers like imposing on children like, hey, you might be trans, and like talking to the children about it, particularly with like no parental consent, and kind of like leading children in these ideas? Like which part of this are we concerned about, and which part are we calling grooming or
I
indoctrination?
think
The
intentionally
non-parental
targeting-
oversight part
Yeah,
is
I think
a little sus.
intentionally targeting children and then separating them from their parents, telling them you don't have to tell your parents, that it might actually be dangerous to tell your parents, creating specific groups in schools like they did in California, where they actually identified children based off of their online behavior and based off of looking at them in the school that they thought were like having social issues and things like that, bringing them into a group and then saying, and then telling them that they need to switch their name in order to remain in the group. And they specifically talk about love bombing the children. Like they're extreme examples, right?
Where
That I don't
is this
think-
extreme example happening? Because when
Just said in
some of the stuff
California.
that
I just said
no, yeah,
California.
in
Well, we
California,
need, we
yeah, like
definitely need like
in
some
California,
I don't
it's
want.
very
I
vague.
like.
No,
Look,
he
our
just
rule-
said
look,
in a
DM
California
me-
school specifically.
DM
He
me.
just said that.
We're
DM
not
me-
saying
Yeah, but we
Listen,
need
DM me.
specifics.
Hold
no,
on.
because
Give
you
you
said
the
one thing I want to
study.
specifically. You said
Give
that
you
like
the
you don't. You said that it could be dangerous to tell your parents. So like that's a really vague thing. If a kid's like, "Oh, I'm gay," and they don't feel comfortable saying it to their parents, maybe the teacher would say that, but that doesn't mean that they've groomed them to be gay. So it's
Well,
like
you-
really,
You
Nobody
don't
said
think it's
they
possible
grew-
that it actually could be dangerous to tell their parents?
it could be. Your parents could be dangerous depending on your
No
parents.
parent
Right.
has ever
And, like,
hurt or
let's-
abused their
let's be
child for telling them
clear.
that they're gay.
letting
We're-
There's
teachers
always
say that
ideologues
it's
and
dangerous
bad actors.
to not tell. Yeah, of course.
There's
it's the same
always
thing with the
this.
Letting
Catholic
teachers
Church.
tell
What
their
we're talking about
children
though,
the truth
like when I
is bad.
hear like grooming or something like that, it sounds like a systematic, intentional movement by educators and from like the top down to basically like direct children into like herds of communist, Marxist, non-binary, gender-rejecting individuals to like basically change, I'm assuming, culture. Like it sounds like this pernicious top-down actual activity. Whereas like it's possible, right? We've got gender education and sex education that has proliferated and increased, and I'm for that, right? I want to be teaching kids that like there are different languages and words, right? But if it's teachers telling kids you are trans and you must be trans, right? That's a problem. But that's about the same problem to me as a teacher also telling a kid you have autism, you have all of these any sort of like diagnosis or self ID thing, right? But if the teachers are just making
Does
space
the
for
kid
kids,
actually have autism? Is he diagnosed
Yeah,
as
the
autistic?
teacher isn't
or
obviously
teacher just like
qualified to tell
randomly
me
saying,
autism.
She's
"No,
making
you're
it-
Hold on.
autistic."
She's saying that you shouldn't be able to diagnose people if you're not like a mental health professional. So teachers shouldn't be doing it fundamentally.
Yeah,
and to be
that's-
clear, I don't think trans identity is even a diagnosis, right? What I am saying though is that like I think imposing on a child anything about like their own self-identity is probably not super healthy for teachers to do at all. But this idea that like there's this mass group and top-down I don't want to say
Concerted effort.
conspiracy. I'm trying to find a better word than conspiracy. Like concerted
just
effort.
say-
Thank you. I don't want to though. I don't want to because I
I
know
don't think
that it
he's
sounds
ever said
dismissive.
that though. I don't
Just-
think
I,
he
just
that's
or
say-
anyone
why
else
I
had
said
ever
I'm not
that.
calling it conspiracy.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Just
Concerted effort.
use the
Personally,
word what it
I'm
is.
calling it a
Just
conspiracy.
use the academic movement that it is. Look at all of the literature regarding critical pedagogy. Just search critical pedagogy. There's massive amounts of academics that are specifically engaged in putting into the education system neo-Marxian, along with Marcusian, along with critical race theory, critical legal studies. It's an entire amalgam, right, of pretty much everything that has occurred within neo-Marxian and postmodernist philosophy since Frankfurt into the education system. You just look for
That doesn't
critical
make it
pedagogy.
bad.
You'll
Sounds like
find
you're
By the way,
saying,
guys,
you
guys,
sound like we're
guys,
saying
I'm so
race
sorry.
conversations.
If we can start wrapping this up in the next few minutes because we have to get to the very last.
Also, I
topic.
put the study that I was talking about in the channel, but you'll have to find your own way to get past the abstract. Wink, wink.
are you
It's
guys-
like if you
I
put
mean,
the word
it's
neo in
interesting.
front of
Stay
something,
What
it
we
makes
have
it
to
bad.
do though
About
in this
racism.
claim is not only do we have to prove that there's
Oh,
a
boy.
concerted effort to do this, but also that it is
I'm definitely
demonstrably
never
bad.
going back
That's
on
the
one of these
next thing
panels.
that we have to
That's for
prove,
sure.
right? If we're just because this is the issue with calling it indoctrination, it gets so annoying. It's like, oh, if you teach kids about religion at all, you're indoctrinating them. It's like fucking obviously not, right? But if you're like forcing it down their throats and like shoving it
Ezekiel,
down
you are
like
correct.
constantly and like forcing them to do actions, okay, well now that's getting more into maybe indoctrination territory. And so like when we're talking about all these things, we have to be clear, like, is it this sinister, malicious thing? Because if it is, that's a problem. But if it's
it
not,
doesn't
we
have
shouldn't
to be
act like it
sinister or
is.
malicious for it to be a problem, though. Like you just
Okay, if
said
there's
right there.
harm.
Would you?
Okay,
Well, I mean, okay.
actually, I'm just
okay,
gonna quote the study.
real quick. I'm a hypothetical, real quick. Would you be comfortable with a teacher who has a religious bringing to make kids in their class confess Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior?
Make kids? No, I would not be comfortable with that.
Okay, why not?
Because I would say that that is the teacher basically forcing children into a certain belief.
Okay, but that teacher. Wait, hold on. That teacher thinks that is the only thing that's keeping that kid from an eternal hellfire. So they think they're doing the right thing. So what's
Okay,
the
so you're asking
harm
about attention?
that you were
Church
asking
and
for?
state
Yeah.
is-
So I already
We
said,
don't
as
have
you
a
started down this
separation
I
of,
tried,
like,
I said, sure, it's not maliciousness, it's harm. I'm willing to just
Mm-hmm.
change that to harm. That's fine.
Okay, so
Okay,
let me just pull.
Guys,
I'm going to
guys,
quote
guys,
this.
Would you not say
guys,
that-
guys? I'm so sorry. We have to bring it in. We have to move forward. I've got.
Let
some
me
super
please
chats
just
for you.
quote the study that everyone has been arguing about.
Okay.
Just like one quote. Okay, so this is under the section, and this is 254 citations. It's not a small, obscure, cited once paper. Okay, outlining transformative SEL and associated social and emotional competencies, citizenship as a framing issue. They talk about the old system of CASEL and some old research, and then they say, briefly, they argued that education aimed at promoting personal, responsible citizenship and its attendant individualism, consumerism, and passively accords with a dominant neoliberal democracy. This is the dominant model. However, a critical democracy requires education to have collectivism, productive interactionism, and authentic engagement as its goal. Accordingly, the field of SEL could aim to prepare students for not only engaged, but also critical citizenship. The fucking red flags and the idea that we are training teachers to re-engage in what a critical democracy needs to be, and the having too much consumerism and capitalist thought and too much individual thought is a giant fucking problem. And the idea that this is being taught to teachers to try and use psychotherapy techniques, or we'll say guidance counselor techniques, whatever you want, to engage this with children is fucking dangerous.
What's the name of the class?
Okay. All right.
What?
So.
Well, you keep saying that it's being taught, but you're saying it's not implemented, so it just kind of sounds like you're rambling.
It would be like infused into all.
No,
of the
Papa, it just sounds like you're not actually like
You just
able
want
to
to fucking
comprehend what
deny
you're
shit.
talking about, dude. Holy
I'm
shit.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to give, since Not So Erudite was like the outlier opinion here, or it seemed like so, I wanted to give her a chance to respond real quick, and then we're gonna move forward. Okay, we're moving on to the next topic.
Sure, I would need to understand what critical democracy actually means. Like if essentially if this document is saying things like we're actively pushing to teach our children that we should undermine democracy, we should have a radical revolution, we should tear down our institutions and instate a supreme communist leader, I would be like, yeah, that's probably not really good. But if it's just saying like we're gonna basically LARP about new values of rather than staunch individualism, it's gonna be collectivism, and like it's like kind of somewhat infused in like how we talk about like social studies and stuff like that. It might just be a representation of the changing cultural norms, which isn't inherently sinister and bad.
If they were the changing cultural norms,
critical democracy, critical democracy, as it refers. No, I'm gonna fucking say this. I'm gonna fucking like I give a fuck to say this.
Okay, it's my turn to speak.
Such efforts might be inconsistent with or violate existing local, state, and national laws.
I'm going to fucking cook my arm and serve it to my neighbors if you don't shut the fuck up, okay? Secondly, all right, I don't know why I keep saying this. Okay, thank you guys for piping down, for me yelling. I have to read some super chats real quick, okay? Winston Fujimori says, I have a request. Can the females on the panel, the liberal, communist, and cringe libertarian included, please allow the men on the panel to speak, namely Keemstar and Flamenco? Very funny, Winston.
Stardust, call him a ham bone.
Ham bone? What does that mean?
He'll get it. Call him a ham. Winston Fujimori, you're a ham bone.
You're a ham bone. Ham bone. Ham bone.
There we go.
Okay. Christorian X says, Keemstar, the reason pedo/grooming keeps coming up is because it's one of the few topics people can disagree without being branded an enemy of a side. Okay. Will from Texas says, even if you think 18 is an arbitrary age and greater than 18 is so close, then what is so wrong with the weird 20 to 40-year-old weirdos just waiting a few years to interact with? Why can't they control themselves? Good question. Klubitz says, what should the age of consent be for Minecraft? Anybody have any words for this?
6.
35.
Okay.
Children shouldn't be allowed on the internet.
Radically different answers. Thank you.
Parents should watch what the fuck their children are doing on the computer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
One person said 6. One person said 35. We've got Flamenco saying nobody should be allowed on the internet until
no, children shouldn't be allowed on the internet. Children specifically. Yeah.
Okay, children should not be allowed on the internet. Okay. Testicle Johnson asks, says, oh, no, he doesn't ask. He says, grooming is only half the issue. You should also shower and brush your teeth. Very good one, Testicle Johnson. Draven says, are the Marxists in the room with us right now? I don't know, Draven. Klubitz says, how do I tell whether I've been groomed into giving Stardust money? Well, if you clearly have not given enough money, so please give me more money.
Atta girl, that's what you do.
Winston Fujimori also says, flamenco radicalized me. His anime and manga recommendations turned me into a right-wing jihadist. Boy Soprano makes Siege read like Harry Potter. Do you have any response to that, flamenco?
Well, at least it won't make you take meth and shoot your mailman, so that's a good thing. I don't know. I guess, like, I don't know. The main problem, I think, with this entire thing is that we had, like, a person simultaneously say that, like, there's something really weird about, you know, preying on formative minds of children, and at the same point, no, actually, certain ideologies, if they're being taught by public school assistants, that's totally cool. Malleable minds in that instance is A-okay.
I mean, I think it's fair to evaluate each case, like, individually, right? Alpha says, do you love black people, Star? I love black people. You have no fucking idea. I love black people. I love them so much. Okay, thank you guys so much. If you guys need...
I disagree.
Yeah. Wait,
Hello?
Did everyone get muted?
Are we?
Wait,
Hello?
No,
Sorry?
we're just having a moment right now. Thank you for ruining my moment, Flamenco.
Did I have a stroke?
Okay. No, I was having a moment with Call Me Carson over here.
Okay.
Yeah, and you ruined it. So
You don't like black people?
Sorry. Me?
Oh no, I'm asking. Sorry.
I
What
love
did you
black
say?
people.
Okay,
I love
never
black
mind. Just move on to racism.
Okay, all right. So, as you all may know, I have been dealing with this online. I know Not So Erudite has known because she's also seen some of it. I'm sure some of you guys have dealt with some of this online. Why is it that the left is comfortable using race-based and sex-based attacks on their opponents when things don't go their way? Is there a problem with racism and sexism on the left?
Do you have an example of this?
Please
people
give.
calling me
Please
white.
give. Yes.
Oh, just look
People
up,
calling
just
me
look
white.
up,
People
Just
saying I'm a
go.
Nazi.
Just look up Endless Cemetery's Twitter thread, and just you'll be good.
Tegma's a better one. Tegma
What?
TV.
Tegma's the best. Tegma
is
says
the
that
best
I'm
gonna say-
white. He says that he says woman of color in quotations. The amount of sexism too that I've encountered in some of these spaces is just ridiculous. But
The,
you know, it is
the
what it is.
cutest part is that they do what they would traditionally call, like, you know, implied racists, where they're like, it's just memes, it's just a joke, and it's like, is it a joke on the other side? Doesn't look like
Yeah,
it.
you wouldn't think so because now they're all
Probably
calling
more of a
me
joke on
Nazi,
the other side,
unironically.
honestly.
So yeah.
I mean, if you want a concrete example, just Twitter search Clarence Thomas and Uncle
Yeah.
Tom. You'll
That's a good
find
one,
some
too.
gems
Oh, yeah.
there, bro.
Or the
Holy
N-word.
shit. Well, I
Tons
mean,
of N-words on that.
some of them have. I'm
So
waiting
are we
for
saying
the
that any criticism that involves race or sex is racist, or
Well,
we
Yeah,
just
so,
no,
so
what do you-
because you did
specifically-
use the
Position
word
is-
race based.
Right,
I'm not saying
right.
that you
So-
said racist, but are we
Yeah,
kind of
I guess
alluding to that?
I guess I'm alluding to that. Basically, for an example, is like what Flamenco brought up, like people calling Justice Clarence Thomas the N-word, or for example, somebody on Twitter like implying that even though so many of my followers are like people of color and they're generally left leaning, they're insulting like people who follow me and saying that they're white and stuff, even if the person who's
What's
calling
up,
them
Jake?
white is white themselves. So things
Wait.
like that. Yeah.
Well, hold on, real quick.
People
With the
calling-
Clarence Thomas thing, like, I don't even think it matters if people are calling him an Uncle Tom. What's more interesting is that the left is going after him like almost exclusively, but not any of the other 4 white people. So when it comes to like the conversation about racism, it's interesting that a lot of progressives expect him to vote a certain way because he's black, and we'd say like, yeah, there's an aspect of, I would think, of racism there, because like you expect him to be a certain way because he's black. So yeah, I think that there's a level of progressive racism that's more difficult to detect, that's been going on for a while, but it's not as easy to detect because, on the conservative side, people are a little bit more outwardly like, oh, I don't like a particular thing. On the left, it's more about, I think, categorizing
We use
people.
our slurs on the left from a place of virtue and good. Okay.
Oh, really?
That's
Sure,
what
but
guys
don't
will
you
just
think-
never understand?
But don't you think that it's also the case that if he, being a black man, having shared history with other black people, would have a point of persuadability, perhaps, and they're trying to leverage that.
I think that what do you mean? It sounds like you're looking at him as a black
Is this like
person
a
before a
Bosch
person.
argument?
You're taking
Like
the
tactic
Joe
no,
Biden.
It doesn't matter if it's
"You ain't
before
black."
or after. They're just saying
like,
this
you're
is a
assuming
feature
that he
of a
has,
person.
you're assuming that he has a
You're saying
particular
that he is
experience
a
because he's
feature
black.
of a person. You have a feature of a person, and you're saying that because they have this feature, that perhaps they have, you can draw some conclusions about what ways you can persuade them.
I don't know.
Somebody in chat
That
is saying,
sounds-
I thought he was singled out.
I don't know about.
To be fair, somebody in chat is saying I thought he was singled out because
Duck on the panel.
he said we should revisit old stuff, and I do think that
Thank
that's
you,
true.
He's
Really
probably
think
also
so.
talking about
I'm-
Overfill and a couple of other
I
things.
don't think I'm
that
ever
were in
going
there.
on a
I
political
think
panel
I
ever
think if
again.
I think if
This is a good
Overfill
learning
gets
experience, chat.
overturned, then we're going to see like a Vosh or a San type like unironically drop the hard R.
So there's
Is
this
it
weird
is it
thing that
unreasonable to
occurs-
assume that as a male, I would presume that you don't carry the opinion that all males should be genocided?
What?
So there's this weird thing that's happening on the left that maybe is better to
confused.
outline. I think it's actually pretty easy to see. People are just like less comfortable calling it out because it's weird to call out your own in group, right? Like conservatives aren't mostly going to call it out because a lot of times they're like, I don't really give a fuck, right? For example, if say, for example, a white ally is arguing with a conservative black man, if he consistently starts implying that he is like other people who are like somewhat race betrayers, he's essentially saying your argument is incorrect because you're black and incorrect. Like he's making a pejorative that is distinctly about not just that your idea is wrong, but also like there's this weird thing of like you're wrong and you're black, right? And it's this weird thing that happens. For example, when I get into arguing with like far lefties, they'll often talk about like how I have just these roving bands of simps, which is inherently sexist because it implies that the only reason that I have followers is because I'm like some hot Coomer brained titty streamer, which is just like pretty far from the work that I typically do. And so it actually comes out a lot of like weaponizing identity and making identity armor, but then like attacking it and then just justifying it. And it doesn't matter because as long as it furthers like your political goals, it's okay. It's like okay for me, but not for the type behavior.
Yeah, not to circle back to Jesse Lee Peterson again, but not every black person that's a conservative is like a Jesse Lee Peterson level advocate of like anti-black propaganda and talking points. I mean, that's just unfortunate like exaggeration that we hear made pretty regularly on the left, but we are definitely struggling to find a way to communicate with the other side that doesn't result in like petty, petty resorts to like the same kind of tactics that we demonize them for. It's really unfortunate, but there's a lack of self-awareness on this side that's kind of making it hard to establish common ground with right-leaning moderates, which I think is something that is going to end up costing us any ability to maintain like any influence in government going forward. So
I would
be very interesting.
I would just make the argument that left-wing ideology is becoming increasingly racist and that it's just racist. Like, I mean, it's not, I mean, like, I would agree with most of what Natsu Erudite said, and I think it occurs on the right as well, right? Like, I mean, I think the right being more individualist, like, tend to just not care if, like, an individual that has some clout or something says something like, whatever, that's him, not me, I don't really care. So they don't really see themselves as, like, often as, like, a collective movement of people that need to self-police. But I think, like, once you get far enough into left-wing space, you're just dealing with racists. Right? Like if you find someone that's a hardcore lefty, right, and they subscribe to much of like critical race theory and things like that, they're just racist. It's a very simple answer. Like, it's not a complex thing.
That's for both sides, I think. But
I'm just curious, like, what do you mean?
For sure. The ideology is very similar between
Yeah.
people that are quote unquote extreme right, especially considering that they usually have the same economic policies, right?
Yeah.
Fascists and communists.
Well,
tend
what's
to
the
have very
racist?
This is
similar
why like the
economic
majority
issues as
of
well.
Americans still
What are you
identify
defining as racist?
independents.
what like specifically on like
Someone
the
that
left?
believes in the, I would say someone like
A critical race
my
theory?
definition of racism, right? Like my definition of racism is someone that believes that one race is inherently superior to another. And I would say that like the literature kind of clearly shows that the far left believes that whites are superior to blacks.
Why does the literature show that? Like, what's an example of that?
Like if you read Stefanik and Delgado's like Critical Race Theory and Introduction 1, right? Like they explicitly and overtly say over and over again that they use power to and the creation of race, and that they have this power, and that they have this ability to hold down black people. And then you start getting into the watering down of what black and white is.
But that's not an inherent
racism is
argument.
about superiority. If superiority is the necessary and sufficient factor to establish racism, then just because race has logical entailments does not mean that somebody is being racist when they point them out.
What do you mean? Can you be more specific as to what you mean by logical entailments?
If somebody observes that there may be logical entailments based upon somebody's race, that does not mean that they are being racist.
You just repeated what I asked instead of explaining what you mean by logical entailments. Like,
I don't know how to say it any simpler. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm on the spot here. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm just
like describe an example of what it is that you specifically mean, right? Like, give me an example.
If somebody's saying, okay, Clarence Thomas is a black man, and at some point in time, black men married to white women was an illegal thing, and now we are in a situation where he is using the same logic that people used to use to make his relationship being illegal, the same logic that would make me not be allowed to exist, right? That logic, he is using.
What do you mean?
Right?
How is he using logic to say that you don't exist? I don't understand.
No, I'm saying that logic would mean that I shouldn't exist because I'm half black, half white, right? That's irrelevant. The point is that they're saying that it's logically entailed by the fact that he's in that relationship, a relationship that used to be illegal, that he should not be particularly not embracing of that same logic. That's a logical entailment of the race that he has. That's not saying that he's superior or inferior at all, is it? So therefore, nothing about that is racist, right?
Well, I don't know what example you're talking about because
what law was he talking about with that? Yeah.
What are you? He's talking about Loving v. Virginia. Is that what you're attempting?
I'm talking about
you're saying that he thinks
pointing
we
out
should
that
revisit
Clarence
Loving v.
Thomas
Virginia?
should have. No, I'm talking about the Dobbs decision, the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Okay, right, but now you're talking about
Roe doesn't have
interracial.
anything to do with interracial marriage.
Right, interracial marriage is
No,
Loving
it's the
v. Virginia,
argument that the
and now you're talking about
left-wingers are
logical
using.
entailments, and that doesn't make any fucking
No,
sense.
the left wingers are using the argument that he's married to a white woman.
Yes.
This race-based, argument to attack him, quote unquote. Right? That's what you guys are saying?
That's true. Okay.
Oh, I didn't even know I didn't even know his wife was white.
Yeah, his wife is white. Yeah.
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 Okay, so what you're saying is it's. Hold on.
Is that what we've been talking about this whole time?
Let me clean up what you're saying.
This is the racist arguments that you guys are saying that he's.
So you're saying that it's not racist to look at and understand racial things and specifically attack those racial things because it's not coming from a place
Not
that
necessarily.
inherently says that there is a supremacist argument in there. Right, right. So if I say, Clarence Thomas, you're an Uncle Tom, especially since you're married to a white woman, what you're saying is that by my definition of racist, what a racist person is, that wouldn't meet my own definition of racism. Is that what you're trying to?
Correct.
There we go. We got to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think using race-based attacks on people, the attack itself isn't necessarily racist. I agree with you. Any attack necessary. I would say even calling a black person the N-word and dropping the hard R isn't necessarily racist. Though it is a racial joke, it is offensive. It is something that is like society has deemed kind of like you shouldn't do that. So it's certainly breaking social norms. And I also think that it would be representative, that could potentially be representative of racial ideas. What I'm arguing is that overtly like deep left-wing philosophy in terms of critical race theory and things of that nature, that is about black liberation, for example, and has the idea that black people are a captured nationality, blood and soil within the American context, and that until the idea of race is destroyed, we will always have racist systemic oppression. Like individuals of the far left, right, in that ideological space are by nature of their ideology that is very blood and soil and fascistic. It's very similar to Nazis, right? Anyone like Ibram Kendi is, probably the closest thing we have to a Nazi today. Like that is inherently racist. And when you're promulgating and you're captured by that ideology, that the idea that it's somehow surprising that you see racial attacks from people that are obsessed with race-based politics is not surprising at all.
So we're really only talking about the very, very far left, the edges, the nuts, right? We're talking about
we're
nut
Twitter
picking,
fringes,
right?
as always.
Yeah, well, we're talking about like
Well,
people saying wild shit on Twitter, right? Like
But
the engagement.
if we're
always
only
pushes
talking about the
prices
nuts, then
up.
how
I
are we
mean,
going to
I don't even know if it's. I don't even know if that's a fringe. Like George Takei literally fucking said Clarence Thomas was wearing blackface. Like this is a.
Right.
This is
Now,
this
George
what,
Takei is the like mainstream figurehead of the left wing.
No, but he is a
He's
mainstream
interviewed for positions all the
figure.
time. Don't pretend. Oh, George Takei is suddenly like. Oh, I don't know. Oh, who the cares what George Takei says?
George Takei is one
no one
person.
treats
That's
George
an anecdote.
Yeah, but it's indicative of a larger cultural acceptance of saying this sort of shit. You know what I mean? Like he
He
prominent.
may very well be just a very far left person.
He a very prominent celebrity who is generally like quoted for all these like extremely
Osama bin Laden is a
progressive things.
celebrity.
Feels very comfortable attacking somebody based on their race and calling them essentially not black.
If a Hollywood
George
actor,
Takei
listen,
is-
this is the proof that you need. Nothing bad is going to happen to George Takei because of that.
Yeah,
and yet,
absolutely.
if a Hollywood actor had come out during the Obama years and said that Obama was, wearing blackface, and that, we all know that he's not a real black man because he's bombing, thousands and hundreds of thousands of children, and that he wants to murder brown people, and this is what happens when you vote for Democrats and we need Republicans in office, I'm pretty sure that Hollywood actor would only get jobs from the Daily Wire's movies.
Yeah,
This is
I
like-
don't
does
defend
George Takei
anybody
have
saying
to
he's
show
not a
in the
real
last
black
20
man. I don't defend anybody saying that he's wearing blackface. I think that those particular criticisms are too far. I was only defending the logical entailments that one might make, like the criticism of him with the white woman, etc. What I explained earlier.
Once we picked
The
apart what
issue-
you were saying, I
hold
don't
on.
necessarily disagree with what you're saying.
Okay, so the issue with the left specifically doing this is the level of hypocrisy, right?
Yeah.
It's super, super ironic when, for example, it's particularly annoying when it's somebody who claims to be like some of like white ally. They talk about like whiteness being bad a lot, and then when a conservative minority member speaks out against them, they attack them on racial lines. Like that's
It
the
doesn't
shit
even have
that's
to be
wild.
conservative. Doesn't even have to be conservative.
Yeah,
It can be,
well,
like,
conservative
it can
in
be
their view.
center. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the most insane stuff, because it's basically saying like, we will fight for you and your rights as long as you fucking agree with us, right? It's like, get in line. And it's so deeply hypocritical. And it's like, the reason why I care about this more is because like it's like my side of the spectrum doing this, and it's really, really problematic. And then people act like it's just like kind of okay. Like the fact that people like get away with saying this stuff on the left, it shows to me that anyone who's saying I care about, for example, like not being a fucking racist, you're a liar. If you're lying if you say that and you don't call out people who engage in this behavior.
We've already had people comfortable with attacking people by race already, with on the left specifically. Like Stardust was literally being made fun of because she's white, which is a little weird when you think about it. For
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
that's what
But
she's
like,
done.
but like, it's sort of like the natural conclusion of this sort of like idea that everything that is tied to your racial identity, and we have this like progressive stack where like, well, this person's words are a little bit more valued than this person's simply based on their race, and they need to, you need to shut up and listen and all that stuff. You're going to see like a lot more of
It's
this
a great
because
example. That Mowdy guy made a meme, you guys know the meme of that one white chick, and then she's sitting on the couch and there are like a bunch of black dudes like behind her and stuff.
yeah.
He made a meme, but it was like supposed to be of me, and then a bunch of KKK members like standing in the back. And
Christ,
so like
what the fuck?
Yikes.
so like for if that was done by anybody on the right, they would be losing their shit, saying like, "Oh, that's so misogynistic."
I
But if
disagree.
it happens to
Rapey.
me,
I disagree.
if it's done to me and it's done by somebody on the left, it's totally okay. It's funny. It's just a meme.
I think you guys are, and Erudite and Stardust, I think you guys are mistaken and in the who is actually most affected and targeted by this. I don't
Hey
think
guys,
the
I gotta
left.
drop off. Thank you, Stardust, for having me. I hope I talk to you all again soon. Have a good
yeah,
night.
thank you for joining us, Portland.
Have a good one.
So I actually disagree. What I think is really interesting is like, so I can get away with more than either of you two can, right? And the reason I say that is because I think what's actually occurring is policing of the left by the more radical left against individuals that they consider to be liberals, neoliberals, center left, right? They're trying to trying to maintain the ideology and not have it watered down by people that are center left. And I think they often look at people that are on the right or in other places of the political spectrum as lost causes. Because like I have seen you guys get attacked by the same people along racial lines, and then I'll tweet out shit like, you know, we should abolish the Civil Rights Act and we should get rid of all child labor laws, and like they got nothing to say about it, even in a direct conversation with me. So I don't know so much that it is actually that they're like that the left is immune from the criticism and that like the right are like, you know, vehemently gone against. What I think it is it's more micro than that. I think it's the center left. It's okay to police your own and force them back into where they belong because you're being too nice to the right.
It's interesting. I don't know if you read Slate Star Codex, but in it he talks about like in-group, out-group associations and kind of argues that essentially like the right isn't the outgroup of the left or the far left. The center left is the outgroup of the far left.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
why.
Okay.
Right. That's why. So like this most kind of moderates seem to be almost be occupying kind of like this, maybe like a third group or maybe a fourth. Like I don't know the number of groups, but it seems to be the case that like far leftists, I mean, they even say it, right? You're not our in group. You're not part of it. But outgroups, if you look like historically, especially, outgroups are almost exclusively more like people who are like kind of similar and more close to you versus somebody who's like really far from you. Like it's easier to attack like your neighbor for being an outgroup than it is to attack like somebody in fucking Australia that you've never met because you don't care about them.
Nor know what the hell their life or anything or their arguments or anything about them, right?
Right. And so it's like it's interesting because it's kind of I see this on the right as well. Like the far right will often attack the more moderate right more viciously than the left ever attacks the right. Because it's like it's this weird kind of like now we've actually got 4 groups going on, which is why like Destiny kind of did this analysis of like maybe we've got more of like this like establishment, anti-establishment. I would basically argue like the problem isn't the left and the right. The problem is tankies and Nazis. Like that's the real problem when we're talking about like social stuff.
Can you send that to me?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. There's like people pretty in the establishment that have some pretty fringe ideas too, though. So I don't know about like that's the. It's only a problem of like people who are like a little too edgy on some sides because I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, I would say statists are the problem, but you know, whatever.
It's also the silence of anybody who's like when we were talking earlier, and I was trying to defend what I thought was the bigger issue, but like that being conflated with the nuts, and then people saying things that not saying, but when we, sorry,
I believe in you.
sorry, we are so quick to try to stand up for our own side. We always we are quiet. We don't always. God damn! I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna take off right now, guys. By the way,
yeah.
I'll see you guys later.
Later.
Okay. Good thing I took off because my internet is just like dead right now. Is it good now? Why don't you talk at all? Because I'm like I don't have anything to add. I didn't talk at all because I was bored like most of the time. But like I mean, that was my first political panel and probably my last because honestly, that was like I thought like the racism topic was like kind of interesting. That's why I wanted to stay and like talk a little bit about it, but or try to talk. Like I was just not entertained by that. I don't know. Let me fix my camera. Also, I need to go pretty soon actually because I forgot I have a friend coming over. All I know is I don't like Papa Gut. You remind me of you. Okay, well, I'm just gonna head out right now. Yeah, I'm just gonna go because I need to attend some stuff. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going on a political show ever again. That was very boring, and I didn't really have anything to add. So, you should do smaller panels. I don't think I should have seen politics in general. Politics, that's my experience with online politics right there, and it was not a very good experience. So, yeah, I am ending the stream.